This is Sports Radio 560 QAM. Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents the Neil Rogers Show. Talk to Neil. Call 567-0560 toll free for Dade and Broward or pound 560 on your cell phone. The opinions of Neil, his guests, callers, or anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group.
No.
Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Hey, Neil. Fuck you.
All right.
Now the Pope depends on you and the powers you possess. Since you saved his life with your flying scissor knife, he's got a job for you to do. You have a brand new style too. We love the way you walk your do. With the big C on your chest and bulletproof in tight dress, you're sending those to our old Moves with the speed of a gazelle, sends the bad guy straight to hell. When a building starts to blow, with your limits then we know you're crushing crime with one mighty
Oh, God, 10:02 at 560 WQAM. Okay, so where were you, Neil? On Tuesday, were you out getting the Backstreet Boys' new LP? And yesterday, were you online for Star Wars? That must have been it.
Yes.
You couldn't possibly have a cold. Didn't I say on Monday I was getting a bad cold and I was going to probably be out a couple of days? I said that. So here we go. The reason I played that Virgin Mary at the start this morning is, guess where the Virgin Mary shows up every year? And a whole bunch of crazy people go to see the Virgin Mary. Conyers, Georgia. And guess what they just had happen this morning in the last 2 hours in Conyers, Georgia? Here's a clue. At, what's the name of the school? Heritage High School in Conyers, Georgia. 6 shot, none of them too seriously, thank goodness, by a student with a .22 caliber rifle. And they interviewed one of the mothers of a student there at the school. She said, well, you know, most of these kids are a bunch of rednecks, and they're all around rifles and shotguns and every kind of gun, and everybody's got a gun. And I said to George, how do you get a .22 caliber rifle into school? How do you go into school with a goddamn rifle?
Maybe it was rifle day.
Is that good? And then the brilliant reporter here on CNN, because today is the 20th of the month, which is exactly 1 month after the shootings at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. And the comment is, well, you know, the president's on his way out there to Littleton right now. A bad day. This is a bad day for another high school shooting. Is there such a thing as a good day for a high school shooting? She didn't tell which were the good days, but a bad day for another high school shooting in America. And you gun suckers out there, you gun lovers, you rednecks, you crazy people with your guns, it's a sickness. And you can watch this crap in the Senate now, man, that Orange Snatch and all these other sanctimonious assholes talking about video games and about Hollywood and about movies and about violence and about all this happy horse crap and Marilyn Manson and obscenity and pornography. Anything and everything but. And, of course, in the meantime, they still have to, and you thought that yesterday they were backtracking, these right-wing maniacs, all in the pocket of the NRA. You thought they were backtracking yesterday? Wait till today, when they have to face another high school shooting. And this kid, by the way, when he got done shooting the 6 kids, was about to commit suicide, which ain't too easy, by the way, with a rifle. But the security, I guess, grabbed him, and he's still alive. So at the very least, we can throw his ass in jail for attempted murder and make a big song and a dance about that. I mean, what kind of minds, what kind of people are you people raising out there? What kind of morons have we got in this country? Monkey see, monkey do is one thing. But in the meantime, yesterday, they come up with a statistic yesterday in the news, which I have no idea where they come up with these numbers. Maybe they counted me in there, too, because I was out sick. They said that 2.2 million people in this country took off from work yesterday to go see Star Effing Wars. How do you like that? 2 million people took off from work to go see the debut of Star Wars. And then I find out later in the day that some of the didn't I even mention this the other day about the Star Trek people, how there's going to be a battle between the Trekkies and the Star Wars nuts, and they're all dressed up like a bunch of overgrown children, like a bunch of simpletons, like a bunch of imbeciles in heat? That's what turns on the American public, baby, is crap. The public in this country never saw a pile of crap that they didn't love. You know, first we saw the cop chase out there. It must have been Rick Sanchez. Because, maybe, we're in sweeps week, so Channel 7, they must have staged that thing with the police here in Miami. And we're in there in the other room watching that thing, and it was mildly amusing, And then the guy gets out of the truck, and he tries to make a run for it, and they grab him. And I come back here, and I sit down minding my own business, and I look up on CNN, and here we go, another high school shooting in Conyers, Georgia. Every year, thousands of crazy people come to Conyers, Georgia to see the Virgin effing Mary. Well, you know something? She must not pick the right times to come around. Where was the Virgin Mary this morning? When this kid was shooting up the school. Where was the freaking Virgin Mary? And like I've told you before, the more religious they are, the crazier they are. And, of course, in the Deep South especially, but not exclusively, but in the Deep South, the more religious they are, the more they love their guns. It's part of a whole subculture in this country, the gun culture. They love them. They grow up with them. They fondle them. What a substitute for a rigid penis. Who needs Viagra when you can have a gun? I just never heard of such a thing. Does it make me an old fart? I mean, when you went to school, did you ever hear of kids coming to school with guns?
No, just nice.
No, seriously.
Of course not.
Who ever heard of kids bringing guns to school? And all these idiots, it's those video games, and it's the Hollywood. You know something, let me tell you again. All over the world, they play the same video games, they see the same goddamn violent movies that we see here in America, and they're not running around killing each other. You think maybe it just might have something to do with the upbringing of kids in this country?
Uh-huh.
No discipline, no respect. We're talking crazy kids. Crazy kids. Oh, that was a good idea. The kids out there in Colorado did it. And, of course, this isn't even to mention. I just briefly mentioned a few days ago the one in Alberta up in Canada, outside of Calgary, which to them that's unheard of. Kid goes into school and shoots and seriously injures 2 kids. And in the meantime, in the last month since the Littleton thing, if you open up Time or Newsweek, they have a map of the country and they show you all the bomb threats, the guns confiscated, all this stuff all over the goddamn country now. It's like an epidemic of crazy kids. What kind of values do your kids have? And I realize it's only a small handful, but Jesus Christ. What kind of a lunatic does stuff like this? What kind of mentally ill people have we got running around on the loose? I mean, it's getting to the point where you can just say,
that's the American fucking way.
Yeah, it's just becoming part of American culture now. It's just a new wrinkle that's been added. Send your kid to school today, and if you're lucky, they'll come home alive. Oh, there he is. Look at that. There's Orange Snatch.
And a number of kids were wounded.
Yeah.
I won't go into the details.
Must have been Marilyn Manson's fault, right, you asshole? You sanctimonious right-wing piece of turd. And, of course, people like him, I heard his comments yesterday, are just looking to seize upon this opportunity to curb every kind of freedom that they possibly can. Fascism is going to really be in now. Give up all your freedoms because it must be somebody else's fault. Everything is too permissive in America. Too much obscenity. Don't say crap because somebody then might actually go ahead and take one. 9 minutes after 10 at 560 WQAM.
Planet where apes evolved from men.
The following is a paid public service announcement from the International Rifle Association.
Let's face it, most of us will never be rich. Hell, we probably won't even be successful, and that's pretty damn depressing. But, as usual, with every problem, there is a solution. Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm here to tell you a little something about handguns. They scare the shit out of people and intimidate them into giving you whatever you want. That's right, handguns. Think about it. Need some cash? Rob a bank. Don't have enough money for beer? Pull up a convenience store. Take some chips and pretzels while you're at it. It's all free if you've got a handgun. Some son of a bitch cheating on your girlfriend? Kill him. It's a simple solution to life's complex problems. All you have to do is wait the 5 days for it, and happiness is just around the corner. Hell, if you don't want to wait the 5 days, who cares? Buy the damn thing off the street. Just buy a lot of handguns. It's a great alternative to working problems out and can be considered a population control. Yes, handguns. They just might make you famous.
10:15 at 560 WQAM in the land of the blazing guns, baby. The Wild West, blazing saddles. They're still doing it. They love it. It's as American as Mom and Dad and Apple Pie and Chevrolet and Pizza Hut. Here's a mobile in Miami Lakes. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay.
Happiness is a warm gun.
Yeah, huh? And the asshole is on the phone. Right off the bat. That's this audience. That's South Florida there for you. Woody. First call, an asshole. Two other calls on the board. These people don't care. They're lined up to see effing Star Wars. That's what they care about. When does the ball game start? And when do we get to see Star Wars, hopefully for free? Nothing phases these people. It's the American effing way, like I said. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. What a bunch of simpletons we got in this country, man. They're never going to wake up. The things that they get most intensely involved in and psychotic about are such a pile of crap, like I said a minute ago, that it's terrifying to me. Scary. There isn't any reason why 99% of the people in this country should own a goddamn gun. I'm not even going to waste my time with this idiotic fax that came in yesterday, which George saved for me from some libertarian asshole. Tell me how I'm full of crap about religion and about God and about he agrees with some of the things on guns like child safety locks. It's amazing we have to argue about child safety locks on guns. We've got them on cigarette lighters, but on guns we have to have a debate about it because we don't want to piss off the NRA and the gun manufacturers. He agrees with me on that, but then he goes on to say, doing away with our right to bear arms is dangerous, and it's messing with our ability to protect ourselves from a rogue government. I thought that only the maniacs up there in the hills of Idaho, all the skinheads, all those militia people, I thought those were the only people crazy enough to believe that. Protect ourselves from a rogue government? Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil God.
Yes, sir.
Neil, I grew up listening to you, and I'm not killing anybody, so I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Neil, what I have to ask
These
is
people are killing me, I'll tell you.
No, Neil, look, we are making all this fuss about, these kids going inside the schools and shooting, but kids shooting, look at gangs. They do the same thing, but outside. Nobody's saying anything.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean nobody's saying anything? That was part of the law that they were talking about yesterday that they're mulling about in the Senate, taking their good sweet time about.
Yeah, screw the Senate. Those guys, they're a bunch of old folks. They don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You have the reason, Neil. Go for it, man. You're the best.
Okay. Have a great life. Okay. In other words, these people have nothing to say about this. 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Like I said, Conyers, Georgia, where thousands and thousands of crazy people come every year from all over the country to gather to see the vision of the Virgin Mary. I don't know if she shows up there on a pizza or like on the side of a bank building like she does in Clearwater. I'm not really exactly sure where she makes her yearly appearance. Isn't it ironic? Isn't it appropriate that all these Bible thumpers down there, they're busy blowing each other's brains out with their guns? Well, we got to have our rifles and our shotguns, teach our kids go out to hunt. We got to go out hunting. Yeah, why is that? Why? Anybody in this audience go out and hunt for their food? Is there one person in this audience that goes out and hunts to get their food?
No.
No. You think there's anybody in Conyers, Georgia that...
No.
No. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
There's one thing you can blame all this crap on.
Yes?
You need a license to drive. You need a license to get a pet.
Right.
You need a license to get married.
Not to have
any
a gun,
moron.
Right.
Any moron can have kids.
Yeah.
It's the parents. If they don't take care of their kids, if they don't take interest in what their kids are doing, it's their fault for all this trouble.
Okay.
And they keep passing it off.
That's right. They want to blame somebody else. What kind of upbringing do kids have who come to school and pull us to do these kinds of barbaric, aberrant things? What kind of environment did they grow up in?
Their mother's probably still asleep, sleeping off the booze from the night before.
Right.
She doesn't care where they are, what they're doing,
Trash
who they're doing
making
it
babies,
to.
man. That's the American effing way. God bless you, sir. Trash making babies. You know, yesterday, I haven't seen too much daytime TV in a long time, thank God, because I'm here working every day in the middle of the day. And I'm going to tell you something. Jerry Springer show, we know what it is. It's crap for people with feeble minds, for people like a different version of the WWF. But now all the daytime shows are like that. Jenny Jones, she's turned from, getting some fag to murder some other fag. She's turned from that now into another version of the Jerry Springer show. There must be a half a dozen shows on there like now where they're a bunch of trash people and they're all going, hey! They're not going that. Well, I'm excited. I hit the wrong goddamn button. Yeah, they're bleeping everything out. Every other word. Hey, bleep, you mother bleeping, and it's all staged, it's all phony, and it all appeals to trash. It's all a bunch of crap. And I'm sitting there watching this stuff yesterday, I'm thinking, thank God for The Price is Right. Maybe that makes me old-fashioned, and I'm sick and tired of Bob Barker already with his white hair. Take your millions and get out of my face, and your goddamn stuffed animals, too, or whatever you got. Your unstuffed animals. But Jesus Christ, what kind of swill are they putting on there? And I'm not saying that that's the reason the kids are going out and shooting each other, but it's just the whole level of American society is coming down to such a point. Oh, we have to have extreme violence and extreme this and Faces of Death, parts 1 through 1,000. We got crazy people running around out there. Lunatics. Last night on 2020, they had a segment about a guy that stabbed his wife 44 times, stuffed her in a goddamn pool, killed her deader than a doornail, and now his defense is that he was sleepwalking. And they had some expert. They can find an expert to tell you anything. Anything you want. If your lawyer's got enough money, you can find an expert to say the dog did it. This guy did it his defense, and they were starting jury selection yesterday. He did it in his sleep. He's a sleepwalker who not only stabbed her 44 times and then stuffed her goddamn head in the pool, but then he took the clothes, all the bloody clothes, and the knife he used, put him in a plastic bucket, put him in the car in the garage, put on his pajamas, and went back to bed. All in his sleep.
He's a smart sleepwalker.
No, he's a dangerous sleepwalker. As opposed to Luke Sleepwalker. Wasn't that his name? Yeah, Luke Sleepwalker. Since we're heavy on that Star Wars crap, here's Plantation. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How you feeling?
Psychotic.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I've actually been in Vegas the last 5 days.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good place to escape from this garbage.
Because I was just going to say, I haven't...
Come in here this morning. I'm in a good mood. I don't feel all that great yet, but I'm getting over this cold, and I'm sitting here watching another day of this crap.
And all it does is bring you down.
Bring me down. I'm psychotic. I'm thinking, how the hell am I going to do a show now? I'm sitting here watching this crap. Luckily, nobody got hurt, injured seriously, but, what kind of garbage is this?
Same thing.
What kind of effing country have we got?
A bad one. Well, Neil, let me tell you something. 5 days out in Vegas, it was enough to make me feel a little bit better.
Right.
Have you seen the Venetian yet? You haven't been out there lately,
no.
Right? Beautiful. That is your kind of place, man. Let me tell you, when you walk into there, it's about, I'd probably say 3 days old at the latest. Venetian ceilings, you have it looks like a Roman cathedral church, the whole place.
Yeah.
New tiles, restaurants, Italian restaurants. They must have about 5 in that place.
Mm-hmm.
Dollar slot machines on fire on top of it. Bellagio, the same story. I've
been in Bellagio.
Have you been to Bellagio?
Yeah, it's big, it's glitzy, it's generic. It's generic to me. I didn't like it. Huh?
Yeah, they had a lot of it roped off, and then
Bellagio to me just looked like another big. When you walk into the middle of it and you look around, you could be in any other casino in Vegas. It just didn't have any distinctive identity,
Except the little flowers at the back, which I thought was good.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It smelled like a large bathroom.
Like pansies, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it was great. I want to let you know that the Venetian, though, unbelievable.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'm going in a couple of weeks.
Feel
okay,
better.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, there's a guy that had a good time in Vegas, of course, not here because we don't believe in having a good time here. We believe in making everybody miserable and crotchety and nasty, etc. By the way, the cold hasn't been going too well the last couple of days. I had a little bit of the sore throat and the stuffed up head and the headaches, and then I went into Publix to get some sodas last night. Now, what are you looking at me like that? I don't think there's a problem with this. I don't know about you. I like looking at good-looking people, okay? In fact, the only thing that keeps me going is knowing that there are a lot of good-looking people out there, and if I look at them, it makes me feel better about life. It gives me hope. When you got an ugly old fart like me, and I see beautiful people, we're back to that again? Yeah, well, whatever you want to call them. Huh? I don't care, unless you're a goddamn liar. I'm not talking about, maybe your guys out there, your wife is, fat and misshapen now and her boobs are down to her knees, and you love her, but nevertheless, she's not too exciting to look at anymore. Or maybe you're not too exciting. In fact, between the two of you, maybe you're a couple of big tubs and you couldn't, make that socket connection if for all the money in the world. So anyway, I'm at Publix last night getting a few items, and there's our bag boy of the year, now turned into cashier of the year, Andrew. Great American, great, good, solid American kid there at Publix at Sawgrass. Now you think that because I mentioned that by name on the air today, he's going to take a bunch of crap. So what about it? What's wrong with somebody looking good? Is there a law against that? Just like JP this morning. I'm in there in the control room. We were bonding this morning. It was tight. We were real tight. Well, of course, he didn't realize they kept inching up closer and closer. Hey, he happens to be a good-looking guy, okay? He's working, and we've got mostly ugly people in this radio station, with the exception of Shannon that you brought in here, and JP, which I have no idea who brought him in here, but thank God. This is an ugly place. It lifts my spirits up. What? To see good-looking people. And, of course, in this world, we favor good-looking people over ugly people. We assume that because somebody looks good, which has got nothing to do, they've done nothing. It's like a guy with a big penis, He didn't do anything to make it big. Maybe he thought he was. That's just a matter of genetics. So we favor people who look good over people who are ugly. Ugly people may be some of the nicest people in the world. Like me. I'm a great guy. But ugly. And good
but
people.
Ugly.
And I'm butt ugly. That's right. As in,
rectum.
That's right. Butt ugly. That's what they always say. And I've known people who were really great looking, and they were assholes. But, in the dark, who cares? Am I right? You bet. Well, now what does this guy want to do? I have to make, because if I get too heavily into this shooting again this morning, I'm going to blow my own brains out here. I can't stand this. And this bitch comes on CNN. Oh, not a good day for another shooting. As if there is such a thing as a good day for another shooting in school.
Maybe Friday so we can get a 3-day weekend.
You crazy bitch. God. All I can say is,
the media is sick and needs help badly.
Amen. And when that crazy bitch has got to be the one to say it, what does that tell you? 1026 at 560 WQM. Hank.
Holy Mackinac! This is Joe Bowen, the voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you're listening to the Hockey Authority, Neil Gore.
All right.
Yo, I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. Yeah. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. Yeah. That's a word for greeting friends like all black people do. Oh. But whiteys want to say it too so they can sound real cool. Yo. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. Oh. Now the bigots have to find another word to use. It used to be real bad, but now it seems okay.
Are you?
When African Americans address themselves that way. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. Oh. No longer the vernacular for racial abuse. It used to be taboo, a nasty thing to say, but now it's bandied all about by black folks every day.
Yo.
I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. Six and ones and mix some kites, you're all included too. It really doesn't matter now, cause everyone is now a fool.
Yes.
Yo. Check it out. I be Grandmaster Spook. I be swishing my face, playing with my record. I be swishing it. I got rhythm. Start dancing, bitch. Put the lotion in the basket.
And don't forget, yo is backwards. 1033 at 560 WQM. Look at this tremendous outpouring of emotion and concern here this morning, man. I got 2 stinking calls on the board. Nobody cares. What's the ball scores from last night, Neil? Now you're talking heavy-duty stuff. 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How are you today?
Okay.
I'll tell you what it is.
What it is?
Is the kids have no respect for authority today. And believe it or not, I'm only 23. But you know what it is today? The parents can't discipline them. The minute the parents spank them on the behind, oh, I'm calling the cops on you. You abused me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if they don't respect their parents, they're not going to respect anybody else.
How can you not have respect for human life? How can life be so cheap in this country and nobody seems to care about it?
I care, but, you know, we can only do so much. There's not enough people that care.
Nobody gives a crap. Nobody cares. They're more excited about frickin' Star Wars, man.
Who the hell cares about something that anybody ain't going to figure out anyway? I still haven't figured out how 4, 5, and 6 came out before number 1. And I don't care, because I'm not going to go see it. So, this is more important than worrying about Star Wars or who's coming out, or what new music's coming out, or who won the hockey game last night. It's more important than all that.
And there wasn't any hockey game anyway, so who cares? Okay, have a great day, sir. One call left on our board here today. Another shooting this morning at the high school in of all places, Conyers, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta, where all those good rednecks are, where the Virgin Mary comes every year. And you people got nothing to say about it. 6 more kids shot right there in school on the last day of school. And you wonder why I sit here and just get apoplectic about a country where nobody gives a crap. They don't even get angry about it. Like Howard Beale said, I don't know what the answers are, but first you got to get mad. They don't even get mad. They don't care. Here's a fax that says yesterday morning in the middle school in Aventura, a kid put a substance through the AC vents, and the kids had to be evacuated for a while. I have 2 kids there, and while the school doesn't know who or what, the kids know, but nobody wants to snitch. While the school doesn't know, I called this morning what substance it was. My kids told me it was pepper spray. Nice going at Aventura Highland Oaks Middle School yesterday. Just a bunch of out-of-control, aberrant punks shooting and doing all kinds of Luna and bombs, you name it. And everybody just sits back. Oh, come on, well, let's go see Star Wars, man. Let's go see Obi-Wan the Yernobi. A bunch of silly crap for overgrown children who want to dress up, okay? They have a name for guys that want to dress up, okay? Go to San Francisco. Go out there to Haight-Ashbury. Go to Castro Street. Pardon that name. Go dress up in drag. Be a professional drag queen. 567-0560, pound 560 on the mobile one. I should have stayed home in bed today again, you know. I could have. Oh, and my neighbor, by the way. The lady whose husband owns Jacaranda Pizza, the one who lives 4 doors down, who's a very nice lady, but oh, can she talk of a storm. But very nice. She brought me by 3 big vats of soup yesterday to nurse me through my cold. Thank you, sweetheart. I'll see you again in a year or 2. Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Neil?
Okay.
About the sleepwalker yesterday. The guy's fixing his filter with a hunting knife and a mouthpiece. And he's probably going to get away with it.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well, what was the hunting knife doing in there?
He was fixing the pool filter.
Yeah, that's not logical to me.
Yeah.
And you're right. He's got to get off because he did it in his sleep.
Well, he doesn't remember anything.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the land of the creative. Oh yeah, this happens all the time. People do very violent things in their sleep. 567-0560. Only stabbed her 44 times. She's better than crap. Oh, and by the way, let's thank God. Let's thank the judge yesterday who gave this woman the right to die here in Florida. Gave her the right. Just think about that. They had to go to a judge. Does she have the right to die? How many years have they had living wills where people say, I don't want any artificial life support. Let me croak in peace, So now we got to go to a judge. And you saw why the mother shot her, by the way. Did you see that story? The old wrinkled up old mother. She shot her because she overheard her saying that she was going to send mom to a nursing home. Not a good idea, Neil, to talk about sending mom to a nursing home. Here's a mobile in Miami Beach. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right about the fact about no respect for human life, and it actually, it starts right from the example they see with the partial birth abortion.
Oh, yeah, abortion's got a lot to do with it. Yeah, abortions, the fetuses are real. Get out of here, you jackass. Get out of my face. Another right-wing asshole. You could be talking about peaches in Georgia, and these assholes will start talking about abortion. What is wrong with you people? Are you crazy? You goddamn fetus huggers? It's very clear from the things that are going on in this country, we desperately need a lot more babies. We need fetus rights. Let's have a whole goddamn Bill of Rights for fetuses, okay, to make guys like this happy. I mean, one-track minds, all they know is give us our guns and leave the fetuses alone, and let's keep procreating like rabbits. Let's keep reproducing like cockroaches. And God forbid that a woman should have any say over her own goddamn body. You've got to stick your nose in there. And then, by the way, speaking of that, if the doctor performs an abortion, let's blow his crap away too while we're at it. Or blow up the clinic or both. Maniacs. That's all you got in this country. Those are the only people with a voice. People like this jackass that just called. The nut right-wing fringe, that's all we got. And everybody else is sitting out there doing their Star Wars and going, yeah, that's what they're doing. 21 before 11 at 560 WQM. Well, before the end, how about lighting up a good cigar from Nick Cigars? Huh? That's a good way to celebrate Armageddon. Isn't that coming soon, Armageddon? Yeah. Oh, I think so. I think we're right on the edge of it. I can almost smell it. Or maybe...
Oh, God, Neil.
Peeping through the keyhole, watching Mom and Dad. Peeping through the keyhole, the most fun we ever had. Mom and Dad were playing tag right there on the bed. Mommy used her boobies as a pillow for Daddy's head. Mommy's head was bobbing. She almost got whiplash. I don't know what she was drinking, but she's got a milk mustache. Peeping through the keyhole, ain't sure what I see. But I sure do like it more than anything on TV. Mom and Dad were hooked together like my Lincoln logs. Last time I saw something like that, Mom was yelling at the door. Dad was breathing heavy. Mom was on her knees. He must have had a boo-boo cause she kissed him where he pees. Peeping through the keyhole, watching Mom and Dad. Peeping through the keyhole, the most fun we ever had. But we watched a little longer, and I started to get sick. If Daddy's name is Elmer, why Mom asked for Dick? Daddy grounded his eyeball back. Mommy wanted more. She climbed back on top of him, but all he did was snore. Peeping through the keyhole as the minutes pass. I can't wait to try this out on some girl in my class. Oh, I can't wait to try this out on some girl in my class.
10:45 at 560 WQM. This is amazing to me. Every time I think to myself, nothing that happens on this show will ever shock the living crap out of me. They could be dropping nuclear weapons right up the street, and on this radio station they'd be calling it. Oh, what time does that Sixers game start, huh? Am I right? Am I absolutely positively? Yes. I got 2 calls on the board here though from very concerned people. Here's a lady in Coral Springs. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I just wanted to call. I heard, listened to you this morning, and I have 3 children, a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old, and it's just making me sick what's going on today. You said something a few weeks ago about if parents, there's a movie on and a child sees a boob, the parents freak out.
Yeah.
But they'll let their kids watch heads being blown off.
Yeah, we're worried about body parts and language. Those are the things that we're worried about. In the meantime, we got body parts flying into schools and not the same ones we're talking about.
Exactly. I mean, it's scary. And I see, my kids right now are just in preschool, and I see things now where, parents, it's like, they drop the kid off and they say, that's the end of my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't understand that,
And then we got this asshole calls before 5 minutes ago that's worried about fetuses.
Exactly.
Like I told you before, the fetus huggers, they don't care about you once you get out of the womb. They couldn't give a crap about anybody. You could starve to death. You'll never get a lending hand or any interest from them. All they care about is sticking their nose in everybody else's business and hugging the fetus.
Exactly.
And having this great debate on when does life start.
It's unbelievable. These people who have so much time to dwell on that need to really start focusing on some more important issues.
And it ain't going to happen. I can just see it. Nobody cares. No. Nobody cares. It's not going to change.
No, you're right.
The public in this country, man, they got the average IQ of a fruit fly. They do.
I totally agree with you. I mean, some of these parents, they don't want their kids to cry, but then, sometimes you got to cry a little bit.
Yeah, especially in this country.
Exactly.
Good luck, sweetheart.
So, thanks, Neil.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, down to our last call. Let's take it. Hi, Aaliyah. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How are you this morning?
Okay.
What I've noticed that lacks nowadays is discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I believe and I've noticed that parents nowadays are not as strict as they used to be in the old days.
Yeah.
I remember my father, when I used to be a kid, we used to go out somewhere and I was misbehaving just by looking at me. I know that either, ship up or you're going to get your ass whooped.
Ship up or ship out, right.
And nowadays, kids do whatever they want with their parents. Bottom line.
Kids are running their parents. I've talked about that all the time. You go into a store and the little kids are running wild in the aisles and they're deciding what the parents are going to buy. They run their parents around like the nose, like they have them on a leash.
Exactly. They do whatever they want with their parents, and their parents, discipline. Nowadays, discipline. And I believe that, it's just incredible. You got all these people getting killed and nobody cares.
Nobody gives a crap.
They don't.
You're the only caller on this board, sir. We just had another shooting at a high school right outside Atlanta, Georgia, which is only a stone's throw away from here, by the way, and nobody in this audience cares. You know something? I'm going to tell you right now, this country's a freaking disgrace. You people are a goddamn disgrace. How can you sit there and this goes on like I've said this before over the years. The Americans have a never-ending ability to accept anything. No matter how unacceptable it is, they can be conditioned to any crap that goes on. No matter what it is. They just accept it as another goddamn news blurb. That's all. As another topic for John Gibson on MSNBC to scream and carry on, and so we can have another 2 or 3 town hall meetings. So that Ted Koppel, I can't understand how this could still be going on. Didn't Ted Koppel have a town meeting on this? Am I right?
Yes.
So how the hell could it still be going on? If we could just have 3 or 4 more town meetings with Jeff Greenblum, that babbling idiot on CNN, shouldn't that stop all these things? I can't generate any calls on here today. I got 2 frickin' calls on the board. Because y'all got lockjaw. Nobody's angry. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a flying crap. And you make me sick to my stomach. I wasn't feeling that great in the first place when I came in. Now I'd like to puke. I'd just like to puke. The most indifferent goddamn collection of misfits in the world right here in this country. Everybody running around with their guns. Oh, we don't want a rogue government. Yeah, the rogue government isn't your problem right now, mister. Your problem is a bunch of crazy people shooting each other up. Every time they get pissed off, they just, like the broad with the nursing home story. The old bag. Oh, she's going to send me to a nursing home. Well, yeah, that'll take care of her. And it did. She's dead. And now we're going to have a big debate on whether they should try old grandma there, for murder. Grizzled up old vegetable in a wheelchair. What the hell difference does it make? Here's a mobile in Weston. Hello.
Hey Neil, I just have a question for you. I want to know what makes you the expert on raising children.
Meaning what?
Meaning you were talking to the lady before.
Who said I'm an expert on raising children? I have 2 eyes and 2 ears. I can see what's going on. Are you the expert, sir?
I didn't say I was the expert. I'm not on a radio show touting how to raise children.
I didn't say how to raise children, but you don't think there's a problem?
Oh, I didn't. I definitely.
You don't think children ought to be disciplined? You think there was something wrong with what I said?
Yes, I do.
Well, like what?
Well, you got to give a case in point. What's your definition of discipline?
Well, in other words, the thing that I just talked about kids running their parents by their nose and running rampant in the stores and so on, you don't see that or in restaurants? You don't see that?
Not.
No, okay, great. Well, open up your eyes, pal. You must be the only one. You must be. See, again, he wants to make an attack on me. I don't have any children. Therefore, what could I possibly know about raising children? Right. 567-0560, pound 560 on a mobile 1 line. Takes a genius to see that there's something wrong out there. It takes a Rhodes Scholar to go into a supermarket or into a restaurant and see the kind of crap that kids are doing. Discipline, baby. Respect. That's what we need. And a bunch of parents who care, which is very obvious by the lack of response. See, any asshole can call in here and attack me because they disagree with what I'm saying or because they have some homophobic comment they want to make. That's simple. That goes on every goddamn day, with or without kids getting blown away in school. That takes a lot of material on your part. Here's a mobile in Davie. Hello.
Hey, Neil God.
Yes, sir.
I got one question. How come in this country, nobody gets too worked up about the high school shootings, but if they see you slap your kid in the toy store, then they want to send you to jail.
Your kid, and then this guy wants to know that's a good example right there. Kids need to be slapped in the side of the head every now and then.
Hey, my parents slapped me once in a while.
Parents that keep threatening to discipline their kids and they never do it, and I've seen this a million times, the kids just laugh at them.
Well, maybe if people get their priorities a little bit more in order, this country would be a little bit better off.
Okay, inhale right now. I'll let you know when to exhale.
Thanks a lot, Neil.
Okay. Hold your breath, and then we'll tell you when the American public, that's right, don't discipline your kids. Don't swat them up the side of the head. Just let them run rampant. Just let them rule the roost because, in the meantime, you're too busy worrying about other crap anyway. Here's Davey. Hello.
How are you?
Okay.
I'll probably get blasted. No pun intended. Because I disagree with you on something.
On what?
I disagree with you on something.
Go ahead. Be my guest.
Okay. Well, I don't belong to the NRA, but I feel that if this kid wanted to go in and shoot at the high school, it wouldn't matter how many laws are in the books. He would go out and get a gun and do it anyway.
He would go out and get a gun. Where would he get it? If guns weren't readily available in this country, how would he get it? How do kids in Canada go out and get a gun? They don't go out and get it. How do kids in most of the countries in Western Europe, how do the kids in the Netherlands go out and get a gun? How do the kids in England go out and get a gun? Guess what? They don't.
I understand
They don't get them.
I understand that. But I think you're touching on the problem, and I think the symptom is the guns killing people, and I agree, that's a big problem, don't get me wrong. But I think you're touching with the parents the way they raise their kids. I mean, the guy just called you up. I bet he takes his kid out to Toys R Us and buys him $1,000 worth of new toys today because he feels bad. You know what I mean?
I don't know. We don't know. We don't know anything about even who this kid is, or other than he was a student there, or anything about his family.
It's just that.
We do know that the family in Colorado of the one kid, of Eric Harris, we know that the family had to take one of the bombs he made out in the woods and detonate it somewhere, and should have been well aware of what kind of crap was going on with him.
I'm as concerned as you are, and I'm sorry that your board's not lit up. I mean, this shocks us all. But I just, sitting here and calling people names or calling them right-wing or fanatical, I don't think that solves the problem, Neil. I really don't. I think people have a difference of opinion.
You think I believe I'm going to solve the problem here on the radio in this town?
Hey, what are your numbers? A lot of people listen to you.
A lot of people listen, but it's obvious the effort that I have to go through to get them to respond. They don't care about this.
Well, maybe some people don't agree with the way you're trying to solve the problem by calling people right-wing fanatics and you vote Republicans and this and that and this and that.
Well, when did I say Republican? When did I say Republican?
Well, when you nail the right wing and the religious fanatics and everything, wrong. Let me tell you something. I went to public school until 9th grade.
Yeah.
My parents took me and put me in a Catholic high school. And you know something? Forget the religion part of it. They taught me respect for people and how to treat people.
They taught you respect for a guy in a dress?
Oh, there you go. All right.
No, wait a minute.
Comment.
What?
That's not, what kind of comment is that? I'm just talking to you.
It's an obvious comment.
Whether you believe in the religion or not, they have different. They have more discipline in certain schools. They don't tolerate certain crap. And in public schools, they put up with a lot of crap.
Sir, I'm going to tell you something. The kind of what you call discipline that goes on in many of the religious schools, there are
I agree with you. I agree with you. No, I agree with you.
The nuns beating the crap out of the girls in Catholic school. I mean, the stuff that goes on is legendary. You were lucky. Okay? You were lucky.
I'm just talking about respect for people. They taught me respect for people. I wasn't kneeling in the confessional. I listen to your show all the time, all right? But I'm just talking about respect, and they don't teach that in public schools. I don't feel they do.
See, I don't respect a guy that gets the trust of the family and then molests their children. I don't respect that guy, okay?
Are you saying that I do? No, I'm just talking...
Well, like I said, you were lucky.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Or maybe ugly, one or the other.
Have a great day.
Okay. Huh? Maybe he's ugly, I don't know. Maybe Father O'Toole had, maybe he was busy. Maybe he had his limit. Like when you go fishing. Don't they have a limit on that? I'm not going to say it. I mean, I don't care whether you agree or disagree, but say something. I listen to this guy. Say something. But don't start bringing in all that right-wing bullcrap. He says I shouldn't say right-wing. About abortion? What's abortion got to do with this? Partial term abortion, my ass. And then we got men calling in here, men calling in telling women what they should do with their bodies. The God Squad. 3 minutes before 11 at QAM, Oh, that's right, we're not doing the ID now. because we already did it. That's good, because George was just reminding me about that business yesterday between Tom Selleck and that fat, disgusting pig, Rosie O'Donnell. See, people think that I'm just looking for a bunch of rubber stamps to agree with me. I happen to agree with what she said yesterday, but she brings, and I can't stand Tom Selleck. I can't stand him in any way, shape, or form. But she was dead wrong. You don't bring somebody on an entertainment show like that under the guise of plugging his new movie and then all of a sudden ambush him, so to speak, on gun laws because he's a member of the NRA. He's not a spokesman for the NRA, which she accused him of being, and she just kept getting more obnoxious, and they showed it like 50 billion times. I happen to agree with everything she says about guns, but she's still dead wrong in the way she did that crap yesterday. Fat pig. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. See, I think we'll be okay. As long as Rosie O'Donnell's going to bat for common sense, we'll be okay. Oh! There you go. Here's a lady mobile in West Palm. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, I have 3 children. One's 26, a boy. One's 12. He's a boy. And then I have a 3-year-old daughter. And the violence today, especially with my 12-year-old, I can't even let him ride the school bus to school because he gets beat up. The school bus driver gets beat up. They can't keep enough cameras and aides on the buses to help keep our children safe. And the school system is completely at lax as far as being able to keep these kids in control. And personally, I feel that the parents really need to get involved and really learn how to parent and learn how to discipline in today's society. The word discipline means to teach, not to beat your kid or slap him across the room.
And the parents have also got to get involved with the school to the point where they start backing up the teachers and the people who are supposed to be disciplinarians in the school instead of this crap that's been going on the last 20 years thanks to Dr. Spock of my kid can't do any wrong, et cetera, and so on. It's always us against the school system. My kid can't do any wrong. Always.
Absolutely. You got to get involved with your kids. You got to ride the school bus. You got to ride the school bus. If you don't pick up a gun and shoot somebody on the school bus because you're trying to parent your children, but it's such a violent, kids used to play with guns and, be Indians and cowboys, and today, it's a whole different, idea. You can't have that type of violence shown to these children because they're being programmed to kill by watching all this violence on TV. So
yeah, but like I said before, if they had the proper upbringing like they do in civilized countries, it wouldn't make any difference how much they saw on television because they would know the difference between reality and fantasy. That's the whole thing right there. Just because you see something on television doesn't mean you go out and do it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. This is a television show. This is a movie. This is a video game. All around the rest of the world, they're able to differentiate between reality and fantasy. In America, our kids are so stupid and so have been instilled with none of the right values, they don't have any respect for human life. Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Let's go kill a bunch of people.
Right, and kids today, everybody has rights. The kids want rights. They want to be heard. They want to be noticed, but they're doing it the wrong way. And the parents are not in the home. The parents are working. As far as the school system is concerned, all these kids that are disrupting in class today, expel them now. Find a special place. Find a reform school. Let's start building a lot. Instead of more prisons, let's build more reform schools and get them out of the way and let the kids who want to learn something learn. Yeah, but Neil, you expel them, and where are the kids going to go? Out on the streets because their parents aren't home to take care of them. Their parents aren't there.
Like I said, reform school sounds good to me.
Good luck, Neil.
Okay.
I'm in there. I'll go to school. I'll ride the school bus. I'll drive the bus.
Okay. See ya. Oh, yeah, speaking of driving the bus, did you see the deal with that horrible accident they had with that bus driver a couple of weeks ago? But anyway. 567-0560, pound 560 on the... See, this is a country where nobody cares about these things, and now you're starting to reap the benefits, so to speak. Nobody cares about that stuff. Nobody cares about who's driving the school bus. Nobody cares about who the teachers are or making background checks on child molesters who wind up teaching at a variety of private schools, including parochial schools. We don't care about these things. And this guy that's giving me a lecture about me being an expert on kids, let me tell you right now, you don't have to have any kids to know that this country doesn't care about kids. In the least bit. They don't give a crap. Except making money off of them, they don't care about them. Here's Miami Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil, this whole situation is ridiculous. I don't even know what to say. I grew up in the Midwest. I had tons of plastic toy guns with my friends. Everyone in my family hunts with real guns. But I knew the difference between reality and fantasy. And now I have a little brother who's 12 years old. My parents live up in off Nob Hill and Plantation, nice area. his biggest concern every day is getting beat up at school.
Nice.
And the teachers talk to him, and Ebonics, and everybody that he goes to school with, they think the ghetto is the greatest place to grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And the teachers talk down to Garrett, my brother. They talk down to him because he speaks proper English. He's there to learn. And he's scared to death. The other day he told me the biggest concern right now is getting crackers. I go, what's that? And he goes, getting crackers are all the kids of a certain ethnicity surround another kid of an opposite ethnicity, and they beat him up.
Great.
And I cry. There's nothing that I can do. My parents have gone to school. They've talked to the administrators. They said they can't do this, and they just laugh. They look at these dumb hicks from the Midwest. This is the city. What is the world? The United States is that warped? Yes. That as soon as you show any bit of compassion or empathy for another human being, they view you as being weak, and you're not going to survive. This is not the Stone Ages. It's totally ridiculous. And the last thing I want to do is have my parents pull him out and put him in a Catholic school where anything that he does the rest of his life that's pleasurable, he'll be concerned and feel guilty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want his mind warped that way. So what is there to do?
See you at the passport office.
Yeah.
Good luck. Okay. Yeah, we got principals, we got superintendents, we got teachers who are so illiterate that it's embarrassing. Who couldn't put a sentence together? Maybe 10 to 20 they could put together. Couldn't put a proper sentence together if you held a gun to their head, pardon that expression. Oh, and somebody wrote a great column. Was it Robert Steinbach the other day, who rarely writes anything that makes sense, but finally wrote a good column? Remember that thing about the kids at Killian High? And that big stink we had a couple of years. In fact, it was right after I first came back on air. It was last year, like a year and a half ago. Yeah, they really nipped that in the bud, and the principal down there saying, oh, you see, we took care of that. We censored what they had to say. As if that has something to do with it. That's right. If just everybody talks nice, if we just put the 10 Commandments up there and dress everybody up in little uniforms. See, when you dress them all up in uniforms and they all look the same, then you won't have anybody in there with trench coats on, so you won't know the ones who are doing the shooting. They'll all look the same. Just, like the Nazis. 9 minutes after 11 at 560 WQM. If you're...
The sky is falling. In the year 2000, or should I say 2001, is that when everyone's supposed to die?
Yes.
In the year 2025, we're gonna be more confused, but still alive, despite the fairy tales of Judgment Day. Like all the Michigoyans say, in the year 2888, you're gonna look around and find that nothing has changed outside of innovative things to do, like faster ways of the frosting food. In the year 3010, Lithium will have a new chip again. Radio as we know it will be dead. We'll listen to the internet instead. In the year 3025, gas prices will be so high you won't want to drive. Cops will only feature primetime cartoons, and the president will be a Jew. Whoa. Now it's been 1,000,000 years. How about that? We're still right here. Go find something else to do. Your predictions won't come true. And when you find a life, perhaps you'll realize that all those years away is just another day. In the year 9999, will we go through this again and hear you whine? We won't be able to watch TV unless we upgrade to a Microsoft screen. In the year 3010, I'm sure that Sandium will have a new
11:15 at 560 WQM. Hank Goldberg at 2. We got talking baseball. Donnie B at 6 o'clock. 6:30 the Marlin pregame. Pirates and Marlins from PP Park. Anybody know? So, it's good that I played that at that point because it brings back to mind last Friday's show. No, seriously, this is terrifying. As a throwaway comment, I mean, just a total throwaway. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about, as usual. And I just mentioned, I said, we're getting these people that keep arguing about this, when does the next millennium really start? And it's obviously in the year 2001. And I'm God forbid I should do that again. 4 solid hours. I never had to give the number out, really. We could have done 10 hours. And almost every single one of these people that called was, guess what? Wrong! Wrong. And adamant. Hostile. The fax machine was smoking. Hostile. Oh, you're such an idiot. We're listening here laughing at you. Yeah. And then come to find out after the faxes started coming in from the NASA scientists and anybody with a brain and IQ bigger than their penis size, oh, well, guess what? I guess you were right. This is the level of education you got in this country. You've got a bunch of morons running around on the loose. Idiots. Lame brains. Gave them a map of the country. They couldn't find the state that they live in if you held a goddamn Uzi to their ass. They still couldn't find it. I mean, you got to have a balance in life. There's got to be the yin and the yang and the in and the out and the up and the down. There's no balance in this country. Everything's got to be fun and games. How much can we exploit it? How much money can we make from it? How much money is Star Wars going to gross? Who gives a flying crap? That's something that's important?
No.
I bet your sweet ass it's not important. But guess what, boys and girls?
That's the American fucking way.
Amen. Crap. Nonsense. Nourishkeit. Here's Weston. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Okay.
One thing I wanted to say, unless we know ahead of time where these school shootings are going to happen, I don't see how we can prevent it from happening unless you know ahead of time where and when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
These kids will steal guns, so they're going to get guns no matter what. Even if the gun laws were stricter, they'll steal them. They'll get them one way or another.
So in other words, you're saying it's hopeless.
Well, there are things, you could beef up security at schools.
Yeah.
One example.
Let me ask you this, and how about armed security guards in every public school in the country?
I would say yes.
I do too.
And one other thing that I don't know if you heard about this, but this might be coming up soon in public schools, is see-through backpacks where you can actually see what the kids are bringing into school.
Yeah.
That's one thing that might be coming up.
And metal detectors.
Exactly. But that's the only thing I can think of because, these things are going to keep happening. And another big problem is, these teenage kids, when they're 18 years old, they let them out of jail. I mean, the laws aren't strict enough for juveniles.
Amen.
They need to make
when somebody 14 kills you, you're just as dead as if they were 22.
Exactly. But the thing is, when they turn 18, they let them go.
Right.
Just like that one in Chicago, those 2 kids that killed that little girl. They're going to be out when they're 18 years old. So
okay.
That's
Good luck to you, sir. Good luck. Sounds hopeless. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. It's hopeless. Let's just throw our arms up in the air and say, hey, let's have a party. Here's Lighthouse Point. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How are you?
Okay.
I'm off of work today early because every third Thursday of the month I trot out to my son's school.
Right.
And if there was one scenario where I'm walking through the hall and the principal goes, do you work here? And I go, no. He goes, well, what are you doing here? I'm a parent. I come to see my son's teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, can I help you? I says, no, that's why I'm here, to help you, because you don't have enough parents coming out here to this school to take care of these kids. You let them return to school every day after incident after incident after incident.
Right.
I get there to my son's classroom. His teacher's like, oh, well, I sent home a note the other day, and it wasn't that important or drastic. She was just letting me know what happened. So I tell her, I says, when you send home a note, it's important to me. And I come out here, and I'll take care of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at this lady. She should have been retired 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So halfway through the school year, I had to pull him out of her class because she's scared to send home a note. Because if the kids get home and the parents find out, they come back, and I guess they nail her to the wall. So that's part of the problem there in itself. But when my son comes home with a note or just bad in school and all that, I put my foot in his ass. That's
Good.
where it needs to be.
Excellent.
And I need to drag some of my neighbors out there to the school because I see their kids just off the wall when I get there. And that's where it needs to start. And these kids, they don't need book bags in school. Let them carry their damn books. They get a ride to school.
Yeah, how come all the rest of us went to school without a book bag and duffel bags and all this other crap? How come we could just carry our books into school?
Let them carry they don't need a book bag. That's the problem right there. They're bringing all these Gucci bags and leather bags and all that stuff, and they're harboring nothing but weapons.
I mean, nobody seems to want to, I'm asking a question. I think it's a reasonable question. How does a kid bring a .22 caliber rifle into school this morning in Georgia? How do you get a rifle into school?
I don't even understand how. I don't know. And it's the answer isn't put security in school. When my child...
Why not?
Well...
Wouldn't you feel better if there was security in your school?
To a certain extent, Neil. But these parents, you know what they do? They leave their home. The kids go to school and they double back and come right back into the home. When my son leaves home, I have his door key. He's adios. He cannot get back into the home to get my gun. Now, he can get someone else's gun, but he already knows he can't get daddy's gun.
Yeah.
And if he does get in, he'll be breaking it. And as old as he is, he shouldn't have to break into his own home. If there's an emergency, I'm notified. I meet him here, or I pick him up from school. I don't let him drive his car to school.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right.
Keep doing it. I still think, if we have to have like an armed camp at every school in the country, that's what it'll have to wind up being. See, I think that maybe like adults, responsible people, if there's anybody going to be armed on a school campus, it ought to be security people. And I keep thinking back to seeing the soldiers with the Uzis on the streets in Rome and feeling very, very safe once I got used to it, once I understood what it was all about. Nobody else had any guns. There was no violent crime. There weren't anybody getting shot in the streets. And in a country where the government changes like every 6 months, they're still not all panicky. Even after what they've been through over there with Mussolini and all that crap, they're still not in a panic about some rogue government coming in and threatening their safety. I mean, that's the lamest goddamn excuse. See, one thing about the gun nuts in this country, you can't deal with logic when you have to try to have a conversation with them. There is no logic. They'll rationalize it any way and every way because you can't take away their shiny, hard thing. It's their manhood, man. It would be like castrating them. That's what makes them a man, is having that peace. Civilized countries, let me say it again, people aren't walking around with weapons. I know that comes as a great shock. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil God.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, Neil?
Okay.
Listen, I agree with you about the armed guards. I have teenagers, okay, and I've tried my best to raise them properly. But here's the problem. It's just like what you're saying with the fetus huggers. It's the same exact thing. They love it. They'll tout it. They'll say, you're going to protect the fetuses, and then when they get to be kids, they don't give a rat's.
That's right. They don't care about anybody that's out. Like I said, that's out of their mother's womb. They couldn't care less. We got mothers taking babies and flushing them down toilets. We got mothers taking babies and throwing them in dumpsters because there's so many unwanted babies being born. They don't care about that.
That's right. That's correct. And you know what, Neil? I knew I was in for a long haul when when my kids were about 6 years old, 6 and 7, and I paddled with my hand. I struck my daughter a couple times for doing something ridiculous like sticking a pin in an electrical socket. She went over to a friend's house, and the mother thought, oh, God, I'm going to do a great thing. I'll call HRS. He's abusing the kid.
Call HRS?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. HRS showed up at the door. Okay, isn't that beautiful? Okay, and of course they saw the house was immaculate. I was perfect. Everything was beautiful, but then they went away. But the thing is, nobody will let you raise your kids. They always have a great idea.
How about minding their own goddamn business?
Neil?
I realize that's a revolutionary concept.
No, this is America. Nobody minds their own goddamn business in America. Don't you know that?
Everybody's a yenta.
Everybody has to tell all to everyone. All right? And you know what? My kids, before the age of 10, knew what HRS was. They knew what divorcing your parents were. They knew about everything that they could get away with. And believe me, they're going to try. Okay? And not because I'm lacking as a parent. All right? It's because society isn't allowing me to be a parent. All right? And that's all I can tell you. I mean, it's absurd.
Good luck.
Thanks, Neil.
Okay, you'll need it. Yeah, let's sue mommy and daddy, huh? Parental, what do they call it? Parental malpractice? Let's get some more lawyers involved in this. Not 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless.
It stinks in Miami town.
Yes.
At 560 WQAM.
Well, I known my sister all my life. That is why she's now my wife. And I think my son may know it's true. He's my nephew too. Well, my daddy is my Uncle Joe. My mother is my dear Aunt Flo. It is very plain to see my first cousin is me. Oh!
Yeah. That's what they're saying in Conyers, Georgia this morning, man. It's 11:30 at 560 WQAM, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. 8 million calls correcting us on when the next millennium starts. Almost every one of them wrong on Friday. And here today, man, work like a son of a bitch to try to get any response at all. Like I said, they don't give a crap. Coral Springs, hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, you know, I'm 40, you know, when I grew up, it was respect or fear.
Mm-hmm.
My father ruled with an iron hand.
Right.
And, you know, I went to high school with 4,000 kids, and none of us were crazies. And the neighbors used to, you know, they'd take you home, too, if you did something wrong. It was an all-around effort by a community, and people did care. People did get involved. Today, they hide behind closed curtains and see if you smack your kid, and then they'll just report you anonymously.
Yeah, this guy that called before, right.
Right. You know, another funny thing is today, you know, I wasn't brought, we celebrated the religious holidays, well, holidays, and that was it.
Oy!
Yeah. I don't believe in God today because it didn't teach me not to be a criminal or anything. I learned that at home.
Mm-hmm.
As far as all these gun nuts, there's only one fix for this is really no guns.
Right.
I mean, there's
That's
not
right.
we don't have to hunt. Do I have to hunt to eat a cow? I don't think so.
Like I said before, and nobody has refuted that there isn't one person in this audience that has a rifle or a shotgun because they go out and they kill game for their meals. No, nobody does that anymore.
And I don't know what kind
Unless
of
you're
sport
living out
that
in
is.
the wilderness somewhere, nobody does that.
And for Rosie O'Donnell attacking yesterday, there was one funny thing one thing she said about, well, we don't need to have muskets.
Yeah.
You know, the English aren't coming. You know, if you go to the Second Amendment and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was really right about that. I mean, so if these gun nuts want to have guns, let them have those single-shot muskets, all they want.
Okay.
Okay,
I think she was saying Tom smell like he was wearing musk. It smelled like something. Like, nice going, Rosie. But you got a lot of free publicity about it. That's what it's all about. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line as we continue pressing and pushing and plotting and squeezing and praying, you should pardon the expression, for a little bit of response here, a little bit of concern, a little bit of something. Well, you know, it was only 6 kids got hurt, 1 in the foot, and, you know, what are you making a big deal about? And, of course, the gun people, they're peeing in their pants, the gun huggers, because now even guys like Oren Snatch and all these other gun huggers who are in the pockets of the NRA in Congress, because of the tremendous public pressure, because evidently not here in this town, but evidently somewhere in this country somebody cares, because they've been ringing their phones off the goddamn hook, screaming and yelling like wild people that this bull crap has got to stop. Here's Miami. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello?
Yes, sir.
Hold for me 1 second. Yes, I was calling to comment on the last gentleman that spoke as far as having a guard in the house or in school or anything like that. You know, guards are in banks, and you know, they rob banks. You know, so it's just going to cause unnecessary shooting, even to increase. Guard mistake a water gun for a real gun and blow the kid away. We don't need that. We need to go back and keep it simple, you know, like the KISS idea, keep it simple, stupid. Get rid of the guns, get rid of the bullets. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
And
Get rid of the guns, he said. Get rid of the guns, get rid of the bullets. Let's start going out confiscating right now. They're going to be knocking on your door before midnight tonight. That's right. You can't take away my gun. Oh, jeez. 5670560. See, guns don't kill people. Only lunatics and irresponsible people with guns kill people. Oh. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Coconut Creek, hello.
Hi, Neil. How are you today?
Okay.
Great. I just want to make a nice little story here. I got a story for you. You're probably going to get a kick out of. I work in the field of fire rescue. I see people do silly things all the time. It's the total lack of respect for society with morals whatsoever. People don't have any anymore, for the most part. Give a little story of in North Lauderdale. A dog was chasing a suspect into a lake.
Mm-hmm.
The dog drowned and died. Within a day or so, there were 2 small children killed on an Indian reservation down in West Miami-Dade. And within 2 days, there was thousands of dollars in the trust fund for the dog. Not even a single person showed up for the funeral for the children.
Nice.
Now, is that sad on society's part? Is that not disgusting?
No, nobody cares. Well, like I said, you read about these stories every day about these scumbags, these so-called mothers taking their babies and throwing them in pizza ovens and in dumpsters and flushing them down toilets, and people accept this like this is the way things are done in the real world. This is the way it's supposed to be.
Well, I wish you could take a ride with us one time. Just see just how the silly things people do, just what they do to each other for a dime, for a cigarette.
Yeah.
They'll just shoot and stab each other,
For
and they just don't
a
care.
parking space, yeah.
Yeah. Just a further comment on how these kids get into these gangs and they get guns. Some parents' idea of parenting is, they make a great buck, they make a good living. They live out in Coral Springs, Plantation, they make a good dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, their kid, here they go. They give them a credit card, a cell phone, and a car. They provided for their children. They have no idea where they are.
Right.
They're running the streets rampant. They have no sense of family, so they get in a gang. And then that's how these gangs get started. That's why we have so many gangs in Coral Springs. And believe it or not, there are a lot of gangs in Coral Springs.
Oh, I know that.
So, I mean, these people, the parents, if they think they're a good parent because they make a lot of money and they give their kid a credit card and a cell phone, you really need to evaluate what a parent really is.
Amen. Okay, thanks a lot, pal.
Okay.
567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. You know, that guy that was giving me a song and dance before about what makes me an expert on parenting. What makes your priest an expert on parenting? How many kids has he got? What makes your priest an expert on marriage? When's the last time he got married? What makes your priest, who's supposed to be celibate, by the way, an expert on sex, so he's the sex counselor for the whole family, huh? Oh, yeah. The hypocrisy, the bull crap, the things that people accept just because somebody tells them it's supposed to be that way. And just like I told you the other day, in this world, things are very rarely what they appear to be on the surface. Believe me when I tell you that. And you'll never guess who called me at home, not only once while I was sick, but 2 days in a row, to find out what it was that I was talking about that I'm not going to repeat.
They stunk.
That's a clue. Okay? That's a hint. Who is just losing sleep. I can't even count the number of hours of sleep he's going to lose these next several weeks because I know something and he doesn't. And he knows that he would like to know it, and he also knows that I will never tell him. Just remember what I told you. Things in life aren't what they appear to be on the surface. 22 till noon at 560.
Ad agency people are assholes.
Road rage is increasingly becoming a factor in many automobile accidents.
God, I'll kill you, you son of a bitch!
Most of the people involved are men. At Gloria Steinem Road Rage University, they're teaching women to demand equality on the roadways.
Hey! You dented my fender, you crazy bitch!
That's not a dented fender! That's a dented fender! You want some of this? Huh? You go, girl! At Gloria Steinem Road Rage U, we'll show you how to compete in the aggressive field of automotive assault with our 3-point system of successful confrontation engagement.
Seek out erratic drivers. Make eye contact. Go to that special place where your PMS always lives.
Gloria Steinem Road Rage University. Remember our motto, that's not a windshield, it's just another glass ceiling. Bust through it and kick some butt now.
Okay, bad news for the gun huggers out there again. CNN just reporting that Al Gore came into the Senate and cast the tie-breaking vote. It was tied 50-50 to pass the Democratic gun control bill.
Oh!
That was stricter and more stringent and made more sense than the other one. How do you like that? Boy, the gun huggers, they're losing minute by minute. Next thing you know, they'll be taking away your guns.
Oh!
How do you like that? Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Yes, switch gears for a moment, Neil.
Yes, sir.
The status of Patrick Ewing for tonight's Knicks games?
Meaning what?
Is he going to play tonight? Or
You're asking me like I know and I care?
I thought you knew everything.
And I care about some big freak?
Well, the Knicks, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
blow the Knicks out your ass, okay, asshole? There's what's wrong with this radio station. Like I said, they could be shooting up kids 2 blocks down the street here, and we'd be on the air talking about horse crap. Get a goddamn brain, you jackass. Get on the subway with Bernard Getz. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How are you?
Okay, sir.
That guy is one of the main problems in society today.
Yeah.
They don't care about the people out there. They'd rather be watching a bunch of freaks playing basketball up and down and betting on it. Okay? I just was watching also CNN about that.
Yeah, that's right. This guy don't even give a crap about the game. All he wants to do is make a bet.
Oh, he wants to make a bet.
Degenerate scumbag.
Incredible. But see, that goes on in society today. And like you say, people don't care, and that gets passed on to the kids. Because all the problems that we have in today's society, gangs, shootings, stabbings, the carjacking, all that stuff, okay, is kids that had parents that didn't take care of them, didn't know where they were at a certain time, didn't discipline them when they were small children. When they got big, if they weren't disciplined, well, Daddy doesn't care where I'm at. I'm going to go do whatever I want. Okay? If the government is serious about taking care of this now big issue that's in front of the people as far as school violence and guns is concerned, it has to be a twofold thing. Government has to eventually eliminate all the guns. That has to happen.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. But today, look on CNN. This is a good first step.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
All the guns. There'd be a revolution in this country. The gun lobby and the gun nuts are so powerful and so psychotic and so adamant about this, you'd have to have a war to do that.
Right. And then, Neil, the vote was 50-50.
Yeah.
And it had to take someone to have the balls to say, okay, let's do it.
Well, it took a few Republicans who joined the Democrats, and then Al Gore had to come in and cast a tie-breaking vote.
Well, maybe it's a good start. The other thing is the parenthood issue. If parents are going to have children, they have to be also responsible parents to teach those kids the right from wrong from the beginning of when that kid starts to develop a personality.
And when is that going to happen? When's that going to happen in America?
Not too often, and I see it every day at different times of the day. Like you say, the guy who said, oh, we don't see the kids misbehaving in the restaurants or in the mall or here or there, he's got to open his eyes because that goes on all the time.
I'll tell you where I see it because I do a lot of traveling. I see it in the airports. I see little kids, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old kids who are running rampant, just going crazy in the airport. I saw a kid open one of those security doors, you know, where the alarm goes off, and the alarm is buzzing and the security guards are coming. Why? Because the parents aren't paying any attention. If I was that kid, that my parents say to me, sit down and shut up, okay? Sit in your seat, and when we're ready to go, then we'll all go over there and get on the plane. In the meantime, sit down and shut up. And that's the way it should be.
Exactly.
Not today.
When I was raised by my dad, God rest in peace now, he taught me right from wrong. And when I stepped the wrong way, he was there to step on me, okay? Once I got stepped on, I knew right from wrong. He didn't have to step on me anymore once I became an adult. He just had to look at me, give me the face, and say, okay, Dad, I'm going to back off. You're right. Just with looking at me. And that was something that I inherited because he started disciplining me from the day one I came out of the womb. If I did a wrong move, he was there to stomp on me.
Right.
Today, it's like everybody was saying, parents rely too much on school and daycare and all this other stuff. Parenting starts in the home. If you're not a responsible parent, then don't have the kids.
Right.
Forced sterilization.
There you go. Thank you, sir. God bless you.
Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.
Come back to my idea again. Forced sterilization. You know, it'd take a generation to solve this problem, but it's worth waiting for. Take all the scumbags and sterilize them. Line them up. Because when scumbags reproduce, guess what? More often than not, and it's really not worth taking the chance, scumbags make more scumbags. And one of the real problems we got in this country is that some of the dumbest people, you see, the dumber you are, the more alien the concept of family planning and Planned Parenthood. All of these things are out the window. They don't even know from these things. And of course, you know, talking about road rage, I keep hearing like some of the people on this radio station talking about these scumbag jocks. Oh, well, if only we could have had an anger management course for Lawrence Phillips. Maybe so-and-so needs an anger, you know, aberrant, grotesque things happen in this country, and we come up with a category for it. Road rage. Road rage. Who the hell ever heard of road rage? We're talking about crazy people doing aberrant, unacceptable things on a highway to each other, and we come up with a category for it. Anger management courses. I got an anger management course. How about 10 to 20 sounds good to me? For scumbags like Lawrence Phillips, which I resent, by the way, that somebody on the station I don't want to mention in the afternoon mentioned a couple of days ago when I was driving home from work, comparing Chris Antley with Lawrence Phillips, which I resent bitterly hearing that crap. I didn't know that Chris Antley beat up his wife or girlfriend or both if he has one, which I don't know. I don't think so. That he had a criminal record as long as his arm, like Lawrence Phillips, and somebody on this radio station who's always talking about anger management courses for scumbag jocks. See, they're all the apologists for trash. Evander Holy Molyfield. Oh, he sure can fight. And even though he did have 5 kids by 5 different women, none of whom is his wife. Oh, and by the way, George.
He has a wife, you know.
Yeah. I don't know how many he created by her. How many times he impregnated that bitch. He's got kids by 5 different women. Married to none of them. Oh, and so and his gal pal. See, that's another thing the media come up with this crap. And his gal pal. They just had another baby. Jodie Foster, she had a baby. We don't know how. Is there a father? No. That's the American effing way, man. Just make babies. Don't worry about who's going to bring them up, who's going to spend time with them, who's going to instill any proper values and discipline them. Just make babies. It's like a hobby. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Okay, check this out. You and, like, the Rosie O'Donnellites, you know, the thick-headed people, want to take gun control issue and make it that if we ban guns, then we won't have a problem anymore. And I want to think about something like prohibition. Remember when we banned...
Sir, I didn't say that we're going to ban guns. It's not going to happen.
You compared us to Italy and you called that a civil society without guns.
It's too late. That's right. But that would
okay.
that would be
ideal. The neo-fascist PDR party over there, you don't think people are scared of a small party becoming a coalition leader?
No.
You don't think so at all?
No, they're not. How many times have you been to Italy?
I've been several times.
Yeah. And are the people scared of it?
Certainly are. And
no, they're not.
As well.
No, they're not.
Oh, please, Neil. And let's put it this way.
Are they scared in the Netherlands because nobody has any guns?
Neil.
Sir, are you going to respond to my question?
Oh, sure. I will.
Are they scared in the Netherlands because they don't have guns to protect themselves?
In the Netherlands, they don't have a diverse population either, do they?
They don't have a diverse population? How many times have you been to the Netherlands, sir?
Never been to the Netherlands.
Well, they have a very diverse population. They have people from all over the world there.
Okay, Neil, hold on one sec.
How about the Japanese? Are they worried about, do they have handguns?
Drugs are illegal, right? I guess kids can't get a hold of drugs, right? That answered the question.
Sir,
right? That solved the problem.
So what you're saying is let's not make any effort to get rid of all of these guns and easy access and irresponsible. See, there's nothing inherently wrong with guns unless they're in the hands of irresponsible people.
That's exactly the point.
And let me say this to you, okay? Kids, for example, in Colorado, those 18-year-old kids, they can go out and buy a handgun. They can't buy a pack of cigarettes. They can't buy a bottle of beer. They can buy a gun. You think there's something wrong with this picture?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Neil, honestly think about this problem.
No, are you going to respond to what I just said? There's nothing wrong with an 18-year-old kid buying a gun?
Nothing at all wrong with the 18-year-old kid.
Society has decided the kid isn't old and responsible enough to buy a beer or to buy a pack of cigarettes, but he can buy a gun?
Absolutely correct.
Based on what?
Based on law. And that's the whole deal.
No, but what
Neil, we
all
have
kinds of laws.
Neil,
Sir, we have all kinds of laws, and a lot of them are stupid. You're a gun lover, sir.
No,
you're a gun hugger. You're a maniac. You're an idiot. You're a scumbag. You're goddamn right I won't let you finish. F&A. Not on this show. You're talking crap. My dog drops better crap in the backyard than it's coming out of your mouth right now. Rationalizer. Oh, well, that's the law. Well, maybe it's a bad law, okay, you jackass? That 18-year-old kids need to be going and buying guns. You idiot. Giving me a song and a dance about the Netherlands. Has he ever been there? No. Oh, but they don't have a diverse population. Right. A diverse population. Do you think they have a diverse population in Conyers, Georgia?
No.
They're all a bunch of rednecks. Just like one of the mothers of the kids from the school said on CNN this morning. Most of the kids in that school, she said, are rednecks. They grew up with guns. They're obsessed with guns. Their homes are all filled with guns. Rifles, shotguns, handguns, you name it. They're gun crazy. Just like Amsterdam, right? You're a typical American, sir. You talk a lot. You expend a lot of verbiage. You go, you know, and you don't say a goddamn thing. And any person, any adult in this audience that would rationalize that an 18-year-old isn't old enough to drink a beer or to buy a pack of cigarettes but should be able to go out and buy a gun, you ought to be in prison, sir. Or at the very least, forcibly sterilized so you can't reproduce. You're a lunatic. Maniac. Oh, God. I'm not going to sing, okay? I don't have the voice to sing today.
Oh, come on.
Air around the clock tonight. Now, that wasn't bad. If I could just get my head to blow up like Joe Rose, huh? Air around the clock tonight. He's a lot better since he got that gap filled in his teeth, you know? I did that. You're welcome, Joe.
I don't have to grow up. I'm a guns are up kid, so I can always kill myself for something bad I did. It's gonna be cool when I kill everyone at school, 'cause my dad said it's okay. I'll exercise my right, like by the NRA, that lets me be a guns are up kid.
He's a guns are us kid. I taught him how to shoot. What? He really loves the sight of blood. No, ain't that kind of cute. I'm a homicidal Nazi redneck with a site on the internet. I'm a lifetime member of the NRA. That's why I raised a guns are us kid. Here, son.
Oh boy, a clip for my gun.
I'm glad that you're a guns are us.
All right. Okay, 12 o'clock at 560 WQAM. Think I'm going to make it till 2? Do I sound like it? Huh? Borderline. Okay. Like Madonna.
Hey,
borderline. 5670560 pound 560 on mobile. And see, I blew it all on that last caller. Screaming and yelling and puking. What little voice I got. But you're an asshole, sir, and I'm glad I was screaming and yelling because you're disgusting. You're an idiot. Oh, those are the laws. Well, guess what? That's what they're doing in Congress right now. They got a lot of bad laws, and they're changing them. So we don't have to have a goddamn Wild West shootout mentality here. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can't have a bottle of beer, but you want to buy a gun a month? How about the Gun a Month Club? Forget that Columbia Record Club. How about the Gun a Month Club? You can buy one a month, you know. Here's a mobile in Margate. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, it's a friend from Rochester, New York, and a buddy of your uncle. But let me tell you this. I was a school teacher 20 years on it. Put security in every school. That's number one, to check out all the men and all that stuff. Another thing is go back to the old CC camps. I think they got a few in the state and other states. So when these kids act up, ship them to the CC camps. Put them on conservation work. Let them work hard.
Right.
Work hard and train. And let me tell you, the jails are all full. Open up more of these here camps. Put these here so-called kids
Send
in
them to
there.
camp.
And they can do constructive things by doing a lot of work like the old CC camps used to do. And put them to work. And another thing, when a guy gets nailed on drugs twice, ship him. Give him the book.
Send them all to camp.
Right. Listen, you do a great job. And let me tell you, Muggsy and I were friends, and you come from great stock. And
Yes,
let me
I
tell you, you know who I am?
No.
Neil?
No.
Dancing Joe. Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Without you, and the day, there wouldn't be a good day in the whole year.
Goddamn
Because you
right.
do a great job. Listen,
Okay, Joe.
Keep on top of that.
Okay.
Don't let up.
Okay. I told Ricky Martin I'd keep on top of it, and he said,
No.
5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Somebody faxed this in. Computer porn forces Harvard dean to resign from Cambridge, Massachusetts. The dean of Harvard Divinity School was forced to step down after pornography was found on his university-owned computer, Harvard sources said on Wednesday.
Oh, my God.
The university asked Ronald F. Thiemann to resign last fall, rhymes with Seaman, resign last fall for conduct unbecoming after President Neil Rudenstein learned of the situation, two university sources confirmed. The material was not child pornography or in any other way illegal, one of the sources said. A Lutheran minister, Thiemann, 52, is married with 2 adult children. He was the dean for nearly 13 years at the Divinity School, but they found porno on his internet thing.
He has a wife, you know.
Well, they don't care. He evidently ain't getting enough. How do you like that? Like I said, things in life, whatever they look like on the surface, you scratch a little bit underneath, just keep scratching it, and you'll find something completely different. Oh, by the way, speaking of scratching, have we talked to our good friend, I hate to bring this up, on the air. I should have done it off the air. But while I'm thinking about it, Phil the Bugman that I haven't seen in months and months and months and months and months and months. I got enough little teeny tiny ants in my kitchen. Talk about setting the camp. I could start my own goddamn camp. All I need is the uncles, because I got all the ants in the world. Little teeny tiny ones. And I'm thinking to myself, that was real nice of Phil to have that guy come and do that great job on my fence, and pressure clean it. But I thought Phil was also the bug man, and it kind of bugs me, because he's a great guy, but I never see him. You know what I'm saying, Phil? You're a good guy, and you sweat a lot, and you do a great job when I see you. Here's Miramar. Hello.
Hey, Neil. Hope you're feeling better today. You're sounding all right.
I'm okay.
Listen,
head cold.
I got 2 stories that I saw in yesterday's Sun Sentinel that I think you would be interested in.
Okay.
First one was right on the front page about the old woman that shot her daughter because she overheard her saying she was
nursing home, right?
To the old lady's home.
That's right.
That's the first person I thought of when I read that was you. I hope your mom doesn't have any guns in the house.
Don't ever threaten to send mom to a nursing home. It's a bad idea.
The second thing is, back in the local section, I saw a little article of a family that's trying to sue, I think it's Hertz Rent-A-Car, because they rented a car to an Irish kid who went out and got drunk and killed somebody in their family. And they're suing Hertz because Hertz should have known that because the kid was Irish, he was going to go out and get drunk.
Yeah.
I almost fell out of my chair laughing so hard at something.
Good point.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They waste the court's time and they wonder about things. But as far as this gun thing and all of this discipline, I agree with a couple of callers back. It's got to start with parents. I remember when I was a kid and I did something wrong. All my dad had to do was start taking his belt off, and I knew that I was in trouble.
Right.
And this is what's got to happen. And the guy, crazy Dancing Joe there, I hope he's not driving, but he had a good idea.
He's just dancing. He's just dancing.
Strict discipline, man. That's what's going on with these kids today. They got no discipline at all.
Amen.
Adios, Neil. Hope you're feeling better.
Thanks. Okay, we got a couple open lines on here because we're not doing the year 2000, and when does the next millennium start? 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Because the average American, they'll tell you what the problem is.
Yeah.
They'll tell you. That's where it's at. Like the guy that calls and wants to know is Patrick Ewing is the baboon playing for the Knicks. The missing link. That's what he's worried about. That's what his life circles about, is cashing a goddamn bet. And speaking of Muggsy Solomon, he ain't here. He sleeps with the fishes, okay? So we can't take your bet, sir. But I'm sure you'll find somebody who can. And if you can't, I'm sure the people on this station will help you find somebody to take your illegal goddamn bet. Hope you lose your ass. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
You know what they say, never rent a car to a Mick.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that
guy disagreed. I thought that was a good point.
Yeah, too much Guinness. That guy a couple calls back. He's an asshole. I mean, this guy's talking about prohibition.
He's an asshole. Yeah.
He doesn't see the connection. Prohibition was...
Which guy are you talking about?
The guy who was talking about how, it's okay to be able to buy a gun at 18 but not be able to drink or smoke.
Oh, yeah, right.
I mean, look, prohibition was a war on personal freedom, and anybody who doesn't know that's an idiot, especially he obviously sounded old enough to know that. Having a gun is one thing. When you own a gun, not only are you're bearing the right to, of course, have weapons, but you also have the responsibility that you could take somebody's life. It's not a joke. I mean, if you're drinking, smoking, doing drugs, et cetera, and so forth, You're only destroying yourself, if at that.
Oh, and I'll give you a better one. Here's a country that's psychotic about marijuana, okay? Since I mentioned the Netherlands. Here's a country that's hysterical. There are all these people, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people taking up spaces in jail cells today, because they either smoked a little bit of dope and got caught with it, or they grew a little in the backyard, or they sold a little bit of it, whatever it was. They're in jail today, but it's okay for 18-year-olds to go out and be buying guns. Well, what kind of a country is that? What kind of a bunch of cockeyed crap are these people thinking about in this country?
All I gotta say is the Republicans are hell-bound. This country's self-destructing. They don't even know it.
God-hating guns, man.
I want to kind of change gears a little bit, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you saw the Best of Miami '99 from the New Times.
Yeah.
There's an article in the Metro section of Miami Miracle about the Virgin Mary statue in Little Havana. All I gotta say is the pious are taking some good-ass mushrooms.
Okay.
All right.
Well, maybe they stopped over on the way back to Rome. On the way to the Vatican, they stopped in Amsterdam. Maybe they didn't have a direct flight. At the, what the hell's the name of that place? The House of Conscious Dreams. Where they have the magic mushrooms and all these other things. Yeah, magic mushrooms. Once checked out by Dave Caprita, I think. 5670560, pound 560 on our mobile one line. We got the Hank Goldberg show at 2 o'clock. He'll be giving an anger management course on his show today. For all the aberrant jocks out there. I understand. We got to pretend that these are great guys so we can maintain the interest level by these people out there. Pretend it's something important. Speaking of pretending something's important, talking baseball with Donnie B at 6. Marlins pregame at 6:30. 7 o'clock the Marlins and the Pirates. I almost said the Penguins. Anybody care?
No. Pot's not good. It's great.
Anyone can release a new movie, but it takes a true Hollywood visionary to re-release a movie that's been seen at least 14 times by every man, woman, and child in the galaxy. Star Wars.
It's a farce, Luke. A farce.
Star Wars. The same story, the same special effects, plus a few that weren't good enough to make it into the original.
Dad, are those Muppets?
Oh, no. Those are aliens in a bar on a strange planet.
Wrong, Dad. Those are Muppets.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Star Wars. It's back with no new characters or surprises.
Oh, I sure hope Luke can get those torpedoes in that little hole.
Don't worry. He will.
Star Wars. Completely redigitized in a way that makes it utterly indistinguishable from the original.
Come to the dark side. Better yet, go to a movie you haven't seen 50 times.
Star Wars. See it.
Yeah, go see it 20 or 30 times, okay? Because George Lucas needs the money. 12:15 at 560 WQM. A little tea here maybe might save me till 2 o'clock. Anybody think I'll make it till... No. Very little voice. Here's a mobile in Key Largo. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's happening, man? How you doing?
Okay.
This gun thing is absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe all these Republican assholes are stopping the gun control from going on. It's ridiculous.
Well, they lost out today in the Senate.
Yep, finally. It's like putting a bunch of 6-year-olds in a room, letting them beat the hell out of each other with baseball bats while their parents are watching, and that's like the government's stance on this whole thing. It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And they ought to put all the gun huggers in Joe Robbie Stadium, let them have a giant gunfight, and end it all right there.
Okay, sounds good. At least we'll get some asses in the seats anyway.
All right, Neil. Take care.
Thanks. Yeah, I heard Defo say this morning, they better stop with those overhead shots of the stadium during those Marlin games. In fact, they could do it even when there is no Marlin game, get the same response, same picture. There is nobody in there. I don't care what they tell you about 15,000, 13,000. There is nobody in there. So let's build a new stadium, okay? Here's Liberty City. Hello. Liberty City.
Hello, yes. I'd like to comment on the shooting in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
I'm speaking from the point of I'm a third-year education major, and my goal is to teach in a public high school. It's kind of scary when you look at the fact that when I graduate school, it'll probably get worse, and I'll probably have to bring a bulletproof vest to school instead of my briefcase.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, if it's going bad, if the situation is bad now, I mean, how worse can it get if they're not passing any laws to stop them from bringing bringing the guns and stop them from making more guns.
Yeah, and evidently there's enough crazy kids out there that, they see it one time and they're all copycats. They all, if it worked in Colorado, let's try it in Atlanta, let's try it in Calgary, let's try it someplace else.
Yes, that's exactly. They publicize the Littleton thing so much. As soon as that happened, there was bomb threats all over the city,
right.
all over
the country.
Yeah, that's exactly. If they won't publicize it so much, it would not happen. A child just got shot at Norland today, Norland High School in Carroll City. It's like, and a child got shot, some children got shot in Atlanta, in Georgia. It's like they're not publicizing the one that happened in Norland. They're publicizing the one that happened in Atlanta. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing, but you have to just say that when will the violence stop and when will we find out that if we had no guns, there would be no shootings.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Don't get these gun people all riled up, the gun huggers, man. It's like I said, it's like the castrating them. Oh my God, somebody stole my penis. All these real limp dick guys out there that can't get it up. Even Viagra won't do it for him. But boy, let him polish that rod, man. Let him squeeze that thing and fondle it, and the gun too. And it makes him into a real man. Yeah, I'm macho now, baby. Make me sick to my stomach. Lousy education. Nobody cares about education. Lousy parenting skills. Lousy discipline. Lousy teachers. Lousy principals. We got both parties. One party's out to destroy the public education system, like in Florida with this voucher bull crap, and the other party talks a good game, and they don't do a goddamn thing. They're both full of crap. Here's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, maybe you can explain something to me. You hear all these gun fanatics, and they always say that they have the right to bear arms in case the government overtakes them. Okay? Now, I'm sure they've watched TV. What is a handgun or even a machine gun going to do against the weaponry that the military has today?
Exactly, of course. It would be like trying to protect yourself against nuclear weapons with a water pistol.
Right. They're taking over whole countries in 45 days.
Yeah.
What is a handgun going to do against a cruise missile?
Absolutely nothing.
So they always bring this up, but none of them...
When they start rolling in the tanks, all the handguns in the world aren't going to get the job done.
Right. So I challenge any one of those gun fanatics out there to call you and ask you that question and explain it to you. What would these handguns and machine guns do against the military today?
In addition to which, this bullcrap of a rogue government, anybody that would say that doesn't understand the way our government works anyhow. We just had a president literally get kicked out of office for getting blowjobs, forgetting about anything serious. So what the hell are they talking about?
That's what I want. I listen all day long, and I want one to call you up and ask you answer that question for me.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. 5670560. More blowjobs, less guns. That's our motto for the new millennium, baby.
Oh!
Even though it ain't really the new millennium. Don't start on that again. More blowjobs, less guns. Okay? If people are going to be shooting,
squirt,
let it be that kind. Just don't get the mess on the dress. Here's Tamarack. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got something to say here. I think the parents are selling the kids on society without giving them an option. You know what I'm talking about? From the day they're born, they're wearing Huggies diapers, trying out for the Huggies commercial, riding in the back of the car, going out to eat at TGI, Saturdays.
TGI Saturday, yeah.
It's with all this stuff.
It's Thursday?
Well, whatever. Why should we even have days of the week? It's all the same. Like the term daily grind is desensitized now, wouldn't daily grind be a bad thing?
Yeah, I'm grinding it right now. Thank you, sir. And the coffee, too. Don't look at me. I have no idea what he said. It killed a few seconds, and my throat's killing me. No, it actually doesn't hurt. I just can't talk. But I got a nice cup of tea here. That seems to be making it a lot worse. 567. I'm just telling you, I would say if it was better, I'd say thank you. It's making my throat a lot better. It's making it much worse. I think there's only one thing that would make my throat soothed right now, Now, you know what it is. And you know exactly what I'm thinking now, but don't say it.
Can I spell it out?
It would be just perfect. Here's Jupiter. Hello.
Neil,
Yes, sir.
long-time listener.
All right.
Very rarely call. We all enjoy, being the world's leader right now. I mean, how many...
World's leader in what?
Well, pretty much in finance and creativity. And
in slaughter, yeah.
Well, we're also doing a lot of good things here as far as...
Well, as far as creativity, most of the inventions the last 20 or 30 years have been come up by the Japs, and then we steal them, and they're not shooting each other over there.
I think
they're not killing each other.
It's just the opposite. I mean, we're the ones that are the creative force that comes up with all the new
So
things.
what does that mean? What does that got to do with the price of peanuts?
Well, maybe that is part of society. I mean, how many CEOs of companies do we need? I mean, we've got to have...
Well, I don't understand the point. What's part of society? The fact that we have a lot of CEOs, what does that have to do with kids shooting each other?
Well, these kids are never going to be CEOs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just...
Well, is that the reason that they're shooting each other, because they're never going to be CEOs?
Well, the government knows what it's doing. I mean, there's plenty of money out there if we wanted to put security guards in the end of each hallway if we wanted to.
Yeah. So, in other words, the government now is responsible for this?
Well, it's not actually responsible, but I mean...
You just got through saying the government knows what they're doing.
Well, they do have the money and they do know what they're doing, and if they wanted to put a stop to it, I think they could step up and police our schools much more. But
and who's going to be willing to pay for that?
The CEOs and the other kids.
Okay, the CEO. The CEO. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. Does anybody have any idea what he just said?
No.
Does he have any idea what he just said?
No.
5670560. Something about a CEO. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Good morning, Neil. How's everything?
Okay, I thought.
Actually, it's a good afternoon, just slightly.
Good evening.
Listen, last night I was watching Fox News, and Dan Quayle, another candidate for the Republican
He's
Party,
an asshole. Yeah.
He's going to link up with the conservatives here and ride the church tail into the White House, he thinks.
I got news for him. My dog's got a better chance of getting elected than he does.
He was responding, and there was a talk show, the Democrat against the conservative hosting it, that what America needs is more biblical values. We need more Christian values.
Right.
They said we ought to go back to that because America...
Somebody forgot to tell Danny Boy that kick is dying out, that's out the window. Somebody forgot to tell him that.
Well, they say history, and these guys are horrible history has shown that when there's more religion controlling the government, in other words, there's too much state and not enough church, the times are better.
First of all, what business does the government have to do with religion anyway? Doesn't the Constitution specifically prohibit that? What business has the government got to do with frickin' religion?
Well, he was giving a statement to the University of San Francisco and the students saying that we've got too much state, separation of church and state, and not enough church. We need to go back to moral values of religious values, and that'll straighten up all these shootings.
This country has got more religion than all the other Western countries put together, and for some reason, they're not getting the job done.
And they say, go back to religion? Dan, we tried that once. We called it the Dark Ages.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Right.
And then they got this other character on there saying that where there is stronger religious values in the Deep South and the Bible Belt, you don't see these things happening. How is it?
Like in Conyers, Georgia, in Jonesboro.
How is it that the Bible Belt and the Gun Belt are one and the same?
Okay. God
Thank
bless you, sir. What was that movie? Shotgun? Oh, Shogun. 1226 at 560 WQAM, where my throat's getting much worse from that tea, by the way. What's in that? God. What is that, Lipton? What is this?
Yeah, Lipton.
Ooh. Man. I should have brought in my herb tea. But I guess I'll have to make do with this real bad.
I have some herb tea.
Bad, crappy tea. That's the way, that's like,
there's some herb tea in
what is this, Jewish tea? It tastes Hasidic. If you need new appliances.
See Hoover out the moon, man.
Oh, man. What is it called? Instant death? Oh, sweet dreams, as in like permanent. 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
I'm hanging in there.
Hey, about what you're talking about here, it's like you said, we're never going to get all the guns out of people's houses. But maybe if they stop manufacturing them and start selling new ones,
right?
Eventually, I mean, not in our lifetime, but it meant eventually, maybe sometime down the road, it would make an effect on crime in this country. And, as far as parenting goes, we had this kid that lived on our block. He was about 13 or 14 years old, and he used to terrorize the neighborhood. And he assaulted my kid one day. He beat him up, and he used to do this to a lot of the kids. He was a real bully. And I went to have a word with his parents one day, and both of them came to the door, and he comes up, and he saw it was me. He knew that he had a problem with me because I'd yelled at him. I chased him away when he was beating my son up. And so he interjected himself. I was trying to talk to his mother, and he interjected himself, came right out to the front, and in a menacing, here is a little the kid couldn't have weighed no more than about 90 pounds, though, even though he was 13, and I'm probably close to 200.
Mm-hmm.
And if I wanted to, I could have, picked him up by his little neck and killed him. But, I'm trying to be an adult, and I'm trying to talk to his mother. And he turns to his mother, as she's trying to talk to me. He's telling her that she should shut her effing mouth.
Nice.
He's calling her a bitch right to her face, and his father is standing right next to him, looking stupid and not saying a word.
Beauty.
I couldn't
Wonder who runs that
believe it.
household.
I was so blown away. Well, the kid now, this was about 5 years ago. The kid's now in prison,
Great.
Right.
All right.
So, oh! Yeah.
What a surprise.
But let me tell you something. I couldn't believe how this kid had behaved, and I told my wife about it. And, my wife is in the business of handling kids. She's a stylist in a kid's hair salon. And she tells me, there isn't a day that goes by that some parent doesn't bring a kid in there, and she sees the same thing happen every day to a different parent. Kids, totally uncontrolled, cursing their parents. Can you imagine in our day growing up?
No, not a chance.
Could you imagine saying
Not a Chinaman's chance.
Cursing your parent?
No.
My God.
Or a teacher.
Or a teacher.
No.
Because we've taken discipline out of the school's hands. We've taken the ruler and the paddle out of the principal's hands. I tell you, people want schools to raise their kids nowadays.
That's right.
And yet they turn around and they don't want the schools to be able to discipline them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how the hell?
That's right. You're exactly right. They want the school to do their job, and then they want to tie their hands behind their back.
Exactly. If you want, that was the worst thing. I think. They want the school to teach their kids sex education, but only if it's based on what they believe. And God forbid they should, teach them anything other than that. Then they start a big stink. Yeah. If they put the paddle back in the principal's hands, and I'll tell you something else. If they started drafting kids at 18, maybe if just for 2 years, while we're not in a real war, just if anything, just to make kids grow up faster.
But most of these kids that are doing this stuff now, they're not even 18.
Well,
and Eric Harris out there in Colorado, he tried to sign up 5 days before he did the murders, and they rejected him because he lied about taking drugs.
Well, that's where the teacher and the principal, like I said, with the paddle in their hand, will make a difference until they're 18, and then once they reach 18...
But let me ask you, how involved do you have to be in your kid's life when the kid's bedroom and your garage are full of bombs and explosive devices and guns all over the place? How involved do you have to be?
Me personally, I have a computer and I have internet access. Okay, I had the option of putting the computer in one of my kids' room so that it didn't take up space in the living room.
Yeah.
And a computer makes a living room look more like an office. But you know what? I felt more comfortable putting it in the living room where whoever's on it has to have I can watch my kid better what he's doing if he's right here in the living room with me, as opposed to if he's in the bedroom with the door locked. And you know what? There are ways. If you buy your kid a computer, and unless you're totally stupid, what's going on out there. There's ways you can see what your kid is doing.
Right.
Involve yourself, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, but this is another babysitter. It's picking up where television left off. Parents that throw their kid in front of the TV for 10 hours a day. Now they can throw them into the room with the door closed and on their computer for another 8 or 10 hours a day, and that's a babysitter.
You have to even if you don't say anything to your kid, I think it's a smart idea for parents to even go in their room and look around, read the papers that they bring home from school. See what the notes are that they're passing amongst their friends. I know it may sound like a violation of privacy, but you know, kids don't always tell their parents everything.
As long as they're living in your house, they don't. They have a limited right to privacy.
Absolutely.
Amen. Okay, thanks a lot.
Bye.
21, yeah, I mean, you know, there's a few bombs in the kid's room, and there's a whole bunch of stuff, explosive stuff in the garage, and, you know, guns all over the place. We're hearing all these weird sounds, but, well, you know, maybe we shouldn't interfere. And they had to take one of the bombs outside of town and detonate it. But, hey, why should they have suspected anything unusual, especially when he was threatening to kill people? Huh? Speaking of the Internet last night, that piece on 2020, oh, my God. Was it on 20? It was on one of the shows last night about prescription drugs being sold over the Internet. Oh, no, it was on one of the local news channels. It was on Channel 6 News. Prescription drugs being sold over the Internet, Prozac, Valium, Meridia, whatever you want, no prescriptions. I'm going to tell you, the Internet, I mean, as much as I support freedoms of all kinds, freedom of speech, the Internet is a gigantic nightmare. Make no mistake about that. And especially when you think of all the misfits who are on the Internet. It's like a club for misfits. 20 till 1 at 560 QAM. If you're
Sports Talk Radio is dead. So starting this Monday, 560 WQAM is proud to present the Joker Show. Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. Only on 560 WQAM.
No matter how hard I try, can't get her to date a guy. That's just how it is. She won't touch a penis. Chastity, I'm grieving. It's so hard in believing, 'cause it's really lots of fun to date a guy who's really hung. Oh, I can't believe she's a lesbian. There must be something wrong that she's gay. I really don't know where I went wrong, no. I can't believe she's a lesbian. I really don't know where I went wrong. Maybe she heard Sonny sing our song. Oh.
Yeah, so they're talking on, what the hell's the name of this show? Whatever it is, the Greta Von Suster and the O.J. Afterbirth show on CNN.
Talk back?
No, Law and Order, whatever the hell they call it. So they're talking about the shooting in Atlanta and Conyers, Georgia this morning. And well, you know, here's the guy right here.
Obviously don't result in shootings, but there are a lot of guns out there in the hands of kids. And
this guy's talking about, let's see if we can't
have
a
a tough rule, a litmus test like that. You bring a gun, you shoot someone. To me, risks a huge overreaction.
Yeah, let's you know, see if we can't rehabilitate this kid. After all, he's only 13, 14, 15, whatever he is. I say let's put him in there for 50 years with no eligibility for parole. Because society is just like the parents we're talking about today. Society keeps threatening to punish people, but very rarely does. And then always acts amazed when scumbags get out after a very short period of time and do grotesque, aberrant things and horrendous harm to other people. You see, you know, you've always heard me say I like nice people. In other words, they don't have to be great people, just nice people, even if they're just harmless. DNH people who aren't going to do you any harm. So we have to separate in this society the decent people from the scumbags. Huh? You know, you have to close out a few teams in the NFL, shut them down. I mean, what's wrong with Alcatraz? You know, why can't we find someplace, like somewhere off the coast of Alaska, there must be islands somewhere. Huh?
Lots of them.
Yeah. The Aleutian Islands, all those little islands, all of these things. And just put them there. Just build prisons. And separate the wheat from the chaff. Separate the scumbags from the law-abiding, decent people who don't want to harm anybody else. Wow, what a concept. And instead we get all these bleeding hearts. Everybody's always accusing me of, bleeding heart liberal. Bull crap. I'm all for the death penalty. I mean, you have to have laws and enforce them based on the reality of what you're living in. Not on some theory. And of course, every time we execute somebody, he was convicted when he was 17, and then he was put to death when he was 32. Wow. What a great deterrent that is. Like Ted Bundy. How many of our tax dollars in Florida did we have to waste before they finally put that scumbag to death? Here's Boca. Hello.
I'm glad what you just said about, bleeding heart liberals and all that. That you look at both sides of the issue.
Yes, I do.
And you see that. And that's the way you should
I'm a pragmatist. I live in the real world. I realize that in a perfect world, you wouldn't want to have something like capital punishment because it's hypocritical. You say you can't take somebody's life and then the government turns around and does it. But when you're living in chaos like we are, you have to have things that work.
Very true. And I am not a gun owner. I have no desire to own a gun or anything like that. Oh, what's that? Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Somebody on your line. Somebody with a gun, probably.
I have no desire to own a gun or anything like that, okay? But I also don't think the NRA is the problem here.
They're not?
They're
a big part of the problem.
No,
the gun manufacturers and the NRA.
To me, the main problem is the people. The people who are committing the crimes in this country, not just what's happened in this. I mean, there are hundreds of kids being killed in drive-by shootings all over the country every day.
Let me ask you this question.
Go right ahead.
Would you give the keys to your car to a 10-year-old kid?
Of course not.
Of course not. So that's the point. When irresponsible people and children are able to get a hold of guns of every kind, size, and description as they are in this society, we got a real sick gun problem.
Absolutely. And those people are totally irresponsible.
But there is an unlimited number of them. That's the point. Americans are not mature enough to deal with the gun laws as they exist now. That's the problem. In Switzerland, everybody's got a gun because they're all a member of the army, okay, which they don't fight any wars.
That's right.
But nevertheless, they're all a member of the military. They all have guns, and nobody shoots each other.
But to me, this is more of a people problem than a political problem. Okay, we always trying to look to Washington, solve this. The gun law they just passed today isn't going to stop one more kid from getting killed. Unfortunately, it's not.
How do you know that?
It's not going to happen. Because
it's going to make it a lot harder to get guns.
Neil,
it's going to make it harder to get guns at these gun shows.
I look at but
which it seems to me in Colorado that of the 4 guns that they had, 2 or 3 of them were bought at gun shows.
I would like less people to have guns too. I agree with you on that. Okay, I agree with you. But we have to change the hearts and minds of people. We have to find out why these kids are so screwed up today.
In addition to which, one of the things in the bill, at least what I watched yesterday, they're upping the age from 18 to 21. I mean, how can anybody tell me that an 18-year-old kid can't buy a bottle of beer, can't buy a pack of cigarettes, but should be able to go out and buy a gun? What kind of a maniac endorses that?
Well, I agree to. Hey, put it up to 21. I don't care.
They're doing it.
But the other flip side of that, somebody will say, well, an 18-year-old can go die for his country, but he can't own a gun here to protect himself.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's for me, but that would be the devil's advocate.
But we don't have a draft. We have everybody who is in the military enlists.
Exactly.
They're doing it voluntarily.
Exactly. But I just don't want to turn this into, conservative versus liberal or whatever, because that's not what
it's called survival. That's what it's all about.
Exactly. I mean, you're a liberal, Neil. I don't blame you for all of, the makeup of our prisons today are not filled with a bunch of conservative Republicans. You would say it's more people of the liberal persuasion, whether it's white, black, or Hispanic. I don't blame you for that.
I don't think that most of the people who are in prison are of any political persuasion. They're not political people.
Well, they were probably brought up in a more permissive...
What about all the people who are in prison for marijuana?
They were probably brought up in a more permissive...
But what about all the people who are taking up those jail cells for marijuana?
I'd say be tougher on the violent criminals, and the non-violent people should be out of there on some work release program.
There shouldn't be one. There shouldn't be one person in a jail cell in America for a victimless crime. Not one. Not one.
And we should not turn people loose. They should do their time and put. We tried to put prisoners with the overpopulation in some tents in South Florida. Remember when that started?
Yeah.
And that failed?
Right.
Because people said, oh, the ACLU said, you can't do that to them. That's harmful.
I think they love the weather up there in the Aleutian Islands. I think they fit right in.
I mean, that's ridiculous. If we have our soldiers can live in tents,
yeah.
What the hell can a person who raped and mutilated a little girl can't live in a tent, for crying out loud?
Or maybe in a box would be better.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Yeah, I like that idea. Let's find some nice islands up there in Alaska where it's nice and cold. And just stick them all up there. If we could find places like Alcatraz, why can't we do that? And separate them, I mean physically separate them from the decent law-abiding people. It's not complicated. And, of course, all these goddamn lawyers who are, make their money, just like this guy I'm talking about last night, stabbed his wife 44 times, stuck her head in the pool. Oh, he was sleepwalking. Yeah, he was sleepwalking. Maybe he was like Martin Luther King. Maybe he had a dream, Sleepwalking. All this creative bullcrap to keep the scum out of jail and to keep them on the streets. Here's Lauderhill. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how are you?
Okay, sir.
How are you? How you feel? I don't agree with you with a lot of things, but I don't listen to everybody's nonsense. The problem is, I know you don't like New Yorkers, you and George, but I'm from the old school.
I don't like what?
You don't like New Yorkers.
I don't?
Oh, I hear that.
I don't like stereotypical New Yorkers.
Okay.
There are good New Yorkers and there are bad New Yorkers.
That's okay. I'm from
the good ones are in New York and the bad ones are here.
I hear you. I'm from the old school. I remember going to school, getting whacked by the teacher.
Right.
And then coming home and getting whacked by my parents.
Right.
What the hell is going on now?
Keep your ass in line. That's what it was all about.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they kept you in line. They taught you right from wrong. What is so, not for them, but the liberals are taking over. You can't hit your kid no more. You can't do this. You can't do that.
That was the Dr. Spock bull crap, That was
what I'm saying.
A whole generation. Maybe it's unfortunate that he's dead. We ought to be able to put him on trial for destroying our society.
And you talk to your kid now, especially down here in Florida, he says, well, you're bothering me. I'm going to call HRS.
Right. There you go.
And what the hell are you going to do? So you know what you got to do? You got to put a bullet in their head. There's no guns in my house.
Okay.
And there's only 2 bombs. And
yeah.
the only 2 bombs are attached to my hand.
Okay. I think you just dropped a bomb. Smelled like it. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. He must have lived next door to Archie. Oh, no, that's right. That was George Jefferson. Here's Naples. Hello.
Hi. That was pretty funny what you said about the sleepwalking guy.
Yeah, he was just having a little problem.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think it's a blessing that I don't have any kids. I'm just turned 40, so it's weighing on my mind why I don't have the motherly instinct, but I just think it's a better idea. And I thought of something funny when my brother was a kid. My dad signed his report card and said, smack him if he needs it.
Good. Excellent.
So anyways, go charismatic.
What? What does that mean?
Could she be talking about the Christian charismatics? Charismatic Christians?
But what does that mean?
I don't know.
Go charismatic. All right, well, who are they playing?
Go Pentecostals.
Go Yidlach. Except for the Orthodox. Oh, by the way, it happened while I was out for those 2 days. Goodbye, Bibi Netanyahu. Oh, boy, I can just hear that song now, can't you? Goodbye, Bibi Brain. They're going,
Oy!
Including your accountant there, that radical maniac, militant piece of crap, Orthodox.
Yeah.
Just remember one thing. When they say Orthodox, whatever it is, that's right, Orthodox fill in the blank, you're talking crazy people.
Are they going to give any of that land that they stole back?
No. After we give Manhattan back to the Indians, then they'll think about it. Let me say it again. It's a piece of desert. The only piece of desert in the world that's worth anything is in Las Vegas. If it looks like you got a piece of the desert on your carpeting because it's real schmutzy, man, you want to have a miracle on your floor? I don't believe in many miracles, but one I do believe in because they've done it in my house year after year after year for about 15 years now. Dry Concepts.
QAM, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
It's not just the 1 to 2 hour. It's a phenomenon.
In theaters now.
It's the totally new Star Wars. Yoda gets hot on R2-D2.
Wow, R2-D2, you make me feel good. Wow, R2-D2, I was just wondering, you are a female, right? You're a dude? So am I.
Yoda breaks up with R2-D2. Showing now.
No robots were injured during the filming of this movie.
Get off of my face!
Showing now in a theater near you.
102 at 560 WQAM. So anyway, charismatic was the name of the horse, not charismatics. Got it? You think she's got it?
No.
Okay. That's why we were just a little bit confused, because go charismatics. Did that make any sense to anybody?
No.
No. Also, we got a chronic Julio out there that wants people to talk to him, evidently desperate, lonely. 305-558-9595. Maybe you can make some new friends in this audience, obviously desperate for attention. 305-558-9595. Just give him a call and say, Asta K, your old meet us. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
Neil, you have a good program.
Yes, I do.
I've been listening to you for over 20 years.
All right.
I just want to tell you something real quick. If you go into a school, it's a private school, and then you go into a public school, you'll see a world of difference. I'm saying generally speaking. The private school has more control. There's more discipline.
There's a lot smaller classes.
Yeah, well, that's very true. That's very true. But there are some of them do have large classes, but they do maintain their rules and regulations. And the problem is these public schools, the teachers and the police officers are afraid of the kids, but not in private schools. And I think if they go back to the private school rules, I think they can improve some.
Well, what do you mean by private school rules? What does that mean?
Well, private schools, they maintain certain rules like dress codes.
Yeah.
And you can't go to school like an idiot, like wearing rings in your nose and your belly button, look like a damn jerk.
Right.
And
with a trench coat on.
Yeah, you look like a clown or something.
Right.
And this is discipline. And if the kids know that you mean business, a lot of them will respond, even though there are some jerks around, what won't.
Okay.
Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it to you.
Okay, thanks.
I like the program.
Thank you. And of course, like I said, even the kids can get on that plane to Alaska. Huh? Yeah, we can build some reform schools in Alaska. It'd be a good place for them. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Is this voice going to hold out till 2 o'clock?
No.
Boy, just barely hanging on. This herb tea really kind of like put me over the edge. That was the end. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how's it going?
Okay.
Hey, well, I don't know. Every call is coming in, blaming everybody. I mean, it's blaming something, whether it be the school or the internet or the something.
Well, do you think it's just happening by osmosis? I mean, how do you solve a problem unless you start looking for?
Start looking. Yeah, I know, but they tend to look. No one ever really sees. If the kid does bad, then they're pinpointing. Now they're trying to say that all these kids going around shooting or people they learned their shooting skills, on a Nintendo game or on a computer game.
Well, that's ridiculous.
That's just insane. I mean,
nobody here is saying that. The only people saying that are people like Orrin Snatch and some of these other people in government who are idiots who are just looking to use this as an excuse to start censoring left and right everything they possibly can.
Exactly. I mean, Disney just took out all their violent games or whatever, and that's going to solve the problem.
Any kid that's playing a video game that doesn't know the difference between a video game and real life needs to be locked away for a long time.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a movie fanatic, and and some of my favorite movies are violent. I mean, even The Godfather was violent, but for you to think, hey, that's cool, let me go shoot somebody.
Right.
But then the legal system would be the same, because whoever it is that chopped this lady in half, they found her in the dumpster. The lady got chopped in half, or whatever. That'll be another one. That'll take about a month to figure out why he did it. Instead of just,
maybe he was sleepwalking.
Yeah, maybe I heard about that guy too, but I think they're too busy covering Star Wars to really shed any light on anything that's going on right now.
Maybe R2-D2 did it.
All right, Neil.
Good luck, buddy. Yeah, the dog done it. The cat did it. Somebody else did it. It's always somebody else's fault. Nobody takes responsibility for their own actions. Parents don't take responsibility for their kids. The government doesn't give a crap about any of these things because they're all too busy taking care of their constituents who are putting up all the money to get them reelected year after year and sticking their pork in there, so to speak. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Oh, yeah. Pete Domenici, Republican senator from New Mexico. He was on there last night. I was watching quite a bit of that on C-SPAN yesterday. Hakan Achanik about Psycho, and how when they did the remake of the movie Psycho, he had sent a letter to Universal Studios. What's the guy's name? Bronfman? Is that the guy's name that owns it? I think so. Sent him a letter, and about how they could put a disclaimer on there about how, since the movie first came out in 1960, Alfred Hitchcock's original version, how much progress we've made in mental health. Now let me ask you, when people saw the original Psycho, do you think anybody went out and killed somebody else? They attacked anybody in a shower, dressed up like mommy?
Oh, they did that.
No, seriously.
No.
No. When they saw the remake, the 50 people that bothered to see it, which nobody went to see it anyway, did anybody?
No.
No. So you talk about the long reach, the long stretch. Who can we blame? It's those Jews in Hollywood again. That's right. Attaboy, Pete. You're a genius. In addition to which, how much real violence is there in Psycho anyway? Other than the shower scene where you see a simulated stabbing attack, how much violence is there in the movie? Oh, I did like when Martin Balsam got knocked down the stairs. That was kind of good. 8 minutes after 1 at 560 WQAM.
Oh, God. I need some hand clapping. You don't need to use a condom. You don't need a dental dam.
No.
You don't need to say I love you or here's $50, man. You don't need to scream for dinner or wear all that sexy stuff. All you need is a set of fingers and a wanker or a muff. 'Cause everybody's doing it all across the land. Masturbators of America, give yourselves a hand. Natural and organic. It's easy and it's fun. You don't know how to do it, ask your parents how it's done. You don't need a special license, you don't need a special skill. Just unzip and slip your grip between your hips and get a thrill. Cause everybody's doing it, and boy, it does feel grand. Masturbators of America, give yourselves a hand. You can do it in the bathroom, you can do it in your bed. You can do it at a concert while you watch the Grateful Dead. You can rub it with some lotion. You can stroke it with a dog. On a Schwarzenegger pounded Michael Jackson jacked it off. Your attitude was softened. Your horizons will expand. Masturbators of America, give yourselves a hand.
All right. 113 at 560 WQAM. So now I turned the overhead up real loud. Now I can actually hear myself. No, seriously, I got to conserve what little voice I got left. Should we play some music?
No.
No. 5670560. Don't start with that. Oh, what was that?
Guess who?
I know what it was, but I'm just saying. Good music from you? Wow.
The Guess Who's great.
I know the Guess
All
Who
good
is
music.
great. I understand.
This, Backstreet crap.
You know, I'm going to tell you something now that you had to inject that, since you're such a militant little Number one, I was out of town on the weekend, but John taped for me that Backstreet Boys special from MTV, that 2-hour thing. They sang 2 songs, didn't lip sync them on that thing. They were great. Number 2, Nick is just as pudgy and ugly as I always thought he was. Boy, did they do a makeup job on him or what in that video? Man. And so I like their music. That's it. That's as far as my excitement about them is concerned. And number 3, yesterday I'm sitting at home, eating on my cough drops and stuff and drinking my herb tea. And my friend Dave comes over to the house, who is every bit as straight as you are. He's the straightest person I've ever known. And I show him the new CD burner that I got. And he asked me to cut him the Backstreet Boys single, the new one. He likes it.
That is a good song, actually.
Don't swoon. No, that was a little bit too far for you, okay?
I don't give them credit for it.
Last week you said you could tolerate it. Now, and by the way, the girl from Gainesville, by the way, my good friend, the one that goes to UF, you know, she didn't call back.
The hemorrhoid.
Because every night, it's number 1 on MTV, every afternoon and every night, for like day after day, supplanting that grotesque NSYNC who belong in the sink, like germs. God,
all of a sudden they're everywhere.
See, one thing about NSYNC, they can't sing and they're all ugly. But other than that, they're dynamite. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Neil? I'm having a first-time caller, but I've been on your show personally. And I used to do business with Sour 96 upstairs.
Yeah.
So I was on your show once. I'm just
you're on my show to do what?
No, I just said hi to you. I walked in when you called me an axe murderer or something.
Oh.
And you thought one of my friends were cute, so whatever.
Oh, I'll bring him back.
Okay. Commenting on 2 things. One, about the Christian schools, how that guy called up, and he said that if you go to a private school, you know, you're better taken care of than a public school.
Right.
Let me tell you, when you go to private school, I mean, most of the time, you're coming from a rich family that the parents don't care about you anyways. They send you to private school so you can get better attention. That, I mean, personally, if there is some cases, I'm not saying that of course not everyone's like that, but with those cases, you know, you're not going to get a better education. That kid, first of all, in his house, you know, he's not getting taken care of the right way, so he's going to be messed up mentally and physically. So the whole thing is, public school, private school has nothing to difference. It comes from your environment.
Right.
And with laws, like you said, O.J. Simpson killed his wife, but then he has millions of dollars to come get a good lawyer to get him out of it. The whole thing is that the law is judged through different predicaments. If there was a law, like if you kill, you are killed. If you steal, they cut off your hand.
Right.
When you steal, you know your hand's getting cut off.
Let's move to Saudi Arabia.
That's what laws need to be. Not a law is you steal, okay, now let me hear your story. And if you rape,
they cut off your, yeah.
And let me hear your story, and then they judge what you're going to do. That's why kids in Colorado are killing, and in Georgia they're killing, is because there is no law that's going to tell them, if I kill this person, what's going to happen to me? You know what I'm saying? And if that person has a rich father, he could go out and get a good lawyer and see what, you know, if he's mentally insane or something's wrong with the kid. That's what's wrong with society. That money's what's judging the whole society, and money's what's going on with everybody. And until you get a law that says, you know, you kill, you will be killed.
Yeah, but you see, in Colorado, it didn't make any difference because they committed it was an act of suicide. They didn't care.
What do you think would have
happened? They had all laws in the world, but the fact is that the parents were oblivious, and there was every sign in the world, especially with Eric Harris, that, you know, something grotesque was going to happen. They even put it on their website, and nobody paid any attention.
And no one paid attention. But let me ask you a question: what do you think would have happened if they wouldn't have killed themselves? They would have went to jail for how long? 25 years?
No, less than that. Less than that.
They would have done something. They would have gotten slapped in the face.
And we could have rehabbed them and let them out so they could do it again.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
That's
sir.
what's wrong with that.
God bless you, and send your friend by.
All right, you too.
Okay. 118 at 560 WQAM. Like I said, nobody's going to solve these things on a radio show because you're dealing with crazy people. I mean, it's pathetic that you live in a country where there is such minimal value on human life. All these religious people, all these goody two-shoes people who put themselves up on pedestals and pretend to be so much better than I am. And this doesn't seem to shock them. How can human life have so little value that you can just blow people away indiscriminately and who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares unless it's somebody who's involved, a family member, a friend, unless it's somebody connected with whoever just got blown away. Nobody cares. It's like this thing in Yugoslavia. We spend billions and billions and billions of dollars for a military, and this country doesn't want to fight a real war anymore. God forbid. Here we got hundreds of thousands of people being thrown out of their homes, tens of thousands of people being slaughtered. We've got genocide right in front of our eyes, women being raped, little children being blown away. And God forbid we should send in ground troops because we're going to have some losses, because some of our people are going to get killed. What kind of a war is that? What does that say about the people in this country? You know, when you join the police force, you know, you realize that you're going to have occasions you're going to risk your life. When you join the military, we don't have a draft anymore. Everyone who's in there has enlisted voluntarily. And they realize that goes with the territory. They realize up front that if we're involved in some kind of armed combat somewhere in the world, they may have to risk their lives. Oh, no, we don't want to do that. So let's just keep having all these accidents every night. Oops, oh, sorry. Got another bad map at Chevron. Dropped a few in the wrong spot. Yeah, dropped a few bombs in the wrong spot. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello. Mobile in Pompano. Long gone. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Andy, how's it going?
Okay.
I want to ask you real quick. I made an observation. Have you noticed how most people talk, every other word is you know? Why is that, Neil? That's
what you called for?
Yeah, just an observation.
That's what you waited 13 and a half minutes to tell me?
I had nothing else to do.
Uh-huh. Yeah, okay, you know. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, listen, one of the things I want to say is maybe everybody always talks about New York. I went through high school in New York and Brooklyn. I'll tell you, we were the first high school to ever have metal detectors in the whole country.
Yeah, that's because there was so much crime there.
No, that's the thing that didn't make any sense. It was the lowest crime school in all of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
The people who are trying these things, they put them where it doesn't make sense. If some of these people just had a little bit of common sense, things would work out a lot better. I know people who came down here to go to schools. The schools down here are far worse than anything they have in New York.
Yeah.
And
let's face it, the education in the state of New York has always been outstanding.
I just don't understand why people can't take what they've learned and use it down here.
Yeah.
What
do you mean down here? What does that have to do with what happened?
Or even around the country, the people who are blowing each other away. You think that New York, it's what people think of as
how does
central.
how does a kid walk into a school anywhere in this country with a shotgun? How is that possible?
It shouldn't be. And they need the metal detectors no matter where you are. And they don't use them.
Okay, I'll see you in the Bronx. 567-0560. Pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. We need armed security guards in every school in America. Oh, no. Yes. That's my opinion. And I'll say it again. It makes me sound very old, but I can remember those days when you go to the airport, there were no metal detectors. Oh, my God. No metal detectors? You didn't have to put your luggage through those things? Now you go to the airport internationally, sometimes you have to put it through twice in the same airport. And then, of course, like when you go to Miami, they have, I don't know, what do they call those things? They're like explosive detectors. They'll pick people out selectively, and then they have those little wands, with a, what do they call those?
Those are just the handheld metal detectors.
Yeah. But they must be much more,
but
they must be a lot more sensitive than the other ones.
So they can get right to the exact area that you have the goods, as opposed to just on your general person.
Yeah.
So they can find exactly where you're hiding, whatever it is, so they can look at it.
But how could there have been a time when we didn't have metal detectors in airports that I can remember? How can that be?
Well, then your people invaded Israel and got all the Middle East people pissed off.
Oh, I thought it was when Castro started up. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T. Why do you think they call it the Bay of Pigs? Here's Okeechobee. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Neil.
Yes, I am.
First time caller.
All right.
Look, about the gun law. You can make as many laws as you want to make, until you put some penalties behind these laws that will stand up and make people afraid of guns. The people are not afraid of the law. They're afraid of penalties. And you got to put a penalty behind the law and stand by it.
How about if we took about 80% of the lawyers in America today and put them in jail right away?
They probably need to go.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Okay, thank you. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Yeah, I think a lot of you are committing crimes in your sleep. You're sleepwalking. You're not aware of it. You're just going out there and blowing up the neighborhood. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe this kid in school this morning in Conyers, Georgia, at the site of the Virgin Mary, maybe he was just sleepwalking with a shotgun. I mean, if that one works in that other case, it'll be where you'll be hearing that all the time. 125 at 560 WQAM.
Beware of exploding balls.
My anus, 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 my anus. Hi, kids. Y'all like cutting little stinkers? That funny little sound that comes right out your sphincter? Want to copy me and do exactly like I do? Get paid for writing little songs about poo-poo? My brain's all gone. I'm trying to get my groove on, but I can't figure out which Spice Girl I'm going to fart on. And Dr. Dre asked, yo, man, did you pass gas? Hell no. Why do I smell ass? Man, you low class. Well, since age 12, it seemed like I always smelled. I thought ripping gases and tooting was pretty swell. I got pissed off when I took my jeans off and fought it so hard it turned my underwear backwards like crisscross. And every night I'm like, oh, dinner last. Then fun out my ass faster than a fat bitch you ate too fast. Smell this, honey. Yo, dude, wait a minute, that's my girl, cuz. I don't give a fuck. God sent me to stink the world up. My anus, my anus, my anus smells. My anus, my anus, my anus smells. My English teacher wanted me kicked out back in junior high. Said the problem was something crawled up my ass and died. I shot him in the face with my vapor. The worst happened later when I covered his desk with used toilet paper. Walked in the strip club, my intestines were filled up. Mooned the bartender, took a dump in a tip cup. Went over to a dancer, had her buck in her garter. She lifted her leg up, and I knew she was a farter. 99% of my life I was lied to. I just found out my mom's got more gas than I do. I told her I'd grow up to be a famous rapper, make a record about strange noises made on the crapper. You know you was dirt when the women rushed to leave. You tried to hold it back, but your butt needed relief. This guy at White Castle said it was pretty cool, but I had to go drop the kids off at the pool. My anus, my anus, my anus smells. My anus, my anus, my anus smells. My anus, my anus, my anus smells.
131 is 560 WQM. The Hank Goldberg Show coming up at 2. Talking baseball, Donnie B at 6:30. And then, speaking of, we got the pregame show 6:30. The Marlins and the Pirates, 7 o'clock tonight. Two teams really going places. Here's Fort Myers. Hello. Fort Myers.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned something earlier about the Israeli elections, and there was a little throwaway remark made, I guess, by your board operator. Will they give back the land that they stole?
Oh, why are you going to waste your time with that?
Well,
it's a joke. It's just that. Why are you sensitive and uptight? He's just joking.
I took him seriously.
Well, don't do it.
All right.
Don't ever take him seriously.
If he meant it seriously, he needs a history lesson.
Okay.
Okay.
What, just because they stole it twice?
Would you stop? Would you cut the crap already? Your people stole Dade County.
Yeah, from a bunch of lazy rednecks.
No, from the old Jews.
What's their excuse?
5-6. They're busy getting the Arabs out of wherever the hell they are. 5670560. All these uptight people. I mean, we got school kids can't go to school anymore because they're afraid they're going to get shot, and this guy's worried about some asinine anti-Semitic comment you made. What the hell do you expect from this little spick? This little militant, hostile spick. He's just jealous because Mayor Lansky's the one that built those nice casinos in Havana. Here's a mobile in Hollywood. Hello. Mobile in Hollywood.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Good evening. Yes.
I'm from the island, right?
From the island?
Yeah, man. I'm from Haiti, but it seems like when you're talking about the good stuff, you never mentioned the Asian, and we always there listening to you. Thanks God to you because you are the only man in Miami
that makes any sense.
We can talk the truth about everything.
Right.
All right?
And listen, do me a favor. Will you stop selling those baseballs so tight?
What?
I said, have a great day.
All right, Neil.
Okay. No, seriously, I was watching, I guess it must have been the Yankee-Red Sox game last night, a little bit, and they were talking about how much tighter the baseballs, everybody who's honest, everybody inside the game, about how much tighter that they've wound the baseballs the last couple of years, and that's why all these home runs are, they're like hitting golf balls. And, of course, Major League Baseball, they lie about it like crazy. But nevertheless, maybe that's why we have games like 24-12, like that, the Reds-Rocky game. But we don't want to talk baseball, do we?
No.
No, because nobody here cares. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Haven't mentioned the Maple Leafs beating Pittsburgh in that series yet today, have I?
No.
No, I'll save that for tomorrow when I get my voice back. Here's a mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hey, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hey, well, a chronic with the brain. All these people are calling up about changing the law, and it's the law of this and the law of that.
They are?
The irony is, what you got to do is do the opening of a Star Wars movie at the polls, or you won't get anybody to go vote. They can stand out in line for hours for Star Wars tickets and pack the theaters.
Yeah.
But you can't even go get them to cast a
Well, because the American people are in love with
crap.
That's right. They're obsessed with
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah,
Crap is
just
their middle name.
put a polling station in a movie theater. You'll get a good turnout.
Okay?
Thanks, Uncle Neil.
Everybody likes getting polled. No question about that. That's what Ricky Martin told me. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. What are we going to do, by the way, about that goddamn Todd Dreck, you know? What are we going to do about him? What are we going to do about salespeople that we got in this building who are whining behind my back and refuse to service their accounts and get the copy straightened out? You know, I mean, I realize I've adopted a new attitude these last couple of weeks, which is fine, but I can't be quite that indifferent. You know what I'm saying? As in totally uninvolved. I don't understand it. Since those people have like all bailed onto the second floor down there, it's a joke. They're incommunicado, which is fine with us. We don't need to see them, but they could send the info up in a bottle or something, in a test tube. Here's Coral Springs. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi, Neil. A few callers back, you had someone mention something about the CEOs with running the schools, and I had no idea what he was talking about.
Neither did he. He liked the way it sounded.
Right.
CEO.
Oh, that's it. I did get to
I think he
thinking
was listening to too much RE Speedwagon or something.
I did get to thinking about it after he hung up. You know, not necessarily the CEOs, but the big corporations. If the big corporations can help finance the $1 million worth of stadiums around for the people that are making money off of them, wouldn't you think that maybe they could come up with something?
Sir, will you listen to me? That's not the fault of the CEOs of the major corporations. That's the fault of the American public. The American public wants their ball games. Don't you understand? They want their Star Wars. They want their ball games. They want their new stadiums and their new arenas. They want their diversions. They don't care about education. They don't care about their kids. They don't care about things that ought to be important. I wasted my time years ago batting my head against the brick wall, trying to convince people they ought to care. And the old saying, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him take a dump. Well, that's the deal. They don't care.
You're
don't
probably
care.
right. Probably right.
They don't give a crap.
It would be nice, though, if they could just, you know, pitch in and just help with the schools. Say, look, not necessarily the CEO, but have someone from the corporations act as a liaison with some of the schools.
Yeah.
And they would help out with, we could sit down with some of the heads of the school and...
or maybe we could just take some of the people from the National Guard and we could, have them at every public school. How would that be? Armed? That sounds good to me. Let's call out the National Guard. That's what I would do. Have armed security right there at every entrance and every goddamn... And, they talk about, in Columbine High, they have like 30-some exits. Well, how about blocking them off, You know how they do in the airport where all the people that have security... We even have it here in this radio station where you have a pass key. And unless you got a pass key, you can't get beyond a certain door. How does that sound? Is that Millennium, by the way?
No.
What is that?
Jordan Knight.
Don't get anywhere near me with that piece of crap. Oh! That's like holding Wolfbane up in front of Dracula. Jordan Knight. Who gave that to you? What jackass gave you that?
Our good, close personal friend, Tony the Tiger.
Well, take it back, Tony. We don't want Jordan effing Knight, okay? Good night, nurse. Get him out of here. The new Yids on the block. Get him away from us, please. Goes to show you there are a lot of girls out there who are desperate. I mean, really desperate. Some of them have very large breasts, too, by the way. 22 before 2 at 560 WQAM.
Most disgusting program. I urge everyone to complain to this station.
Yo, I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger boos. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger boos. That's a word for greeting friends like all black people do. But whiteys want to say it too so they can sound real cool. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger boos. Oh! Now the bigots have to find another word to use.
Oh!
It used to be real bad, but now it seems okay when African Americans that dress themselves that way. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. No longer the vernacular for racial abuse. It used to be taboo, a nasty thing to say, but now it's bandied all about by black folks every day.
Yo.
I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. I'm a nigger, you're a nigger, he's a nigger, she's a nigger, we're all nigger booze. Oh! Mix and watch and mix some kinds, you're all included too. It really doesn't matter now, 'cause everyone is now a Sioux. Yo. Check it out. I be Grandmaster Spook. I be swishing my thing, playing with my record. I be swishing it. I got rhythm. Start dancing, bitch. Put the dope in the basket.
145 at 560. See, it's easy to point fingers at parents and at kids and at this and at the movies. The fact is that in America, we have this way of resolving conflict. And you know what that is? We blow each other's brains out. Have a marital squabble? Kill your spouse. Somebody steal your park, like that bit goes. Steal your parking spot? Blow their brains out. Pissed off, somebody owes you money? Shoot them dead. That's the American effing way, man. So when kids do it, we're surprised. But what do kids do? They emulate their parents. They emulate their elders. American culture is sick. Real sick. There's no value, there's no respect for human life. And as far as conflict resolution, it's usually like that. Here's Jupiter. Hello.
Hey, Neil, God.
Yes, sir. Speaking.
You know, you made a point. I'm 45 years old, and I also remember being able to walk into the airport and just walk on your plane and
Sure.
not have to go through all kinds of stuff.
No metal detectors whatsoever.
So, I mean, isn't that a starting place right there? Stop these things from coming into school.
Yeah.
In other words, the reason the metal detectors came to the airport was all the plane hijackings, right?
Right.
That rash of
Bombings, hijackings, right.
70s or early 70s, whatever.
Right.
And they did it to stop the bringing of these things onto the plane.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, isn't that just like such common sense? Let's stop, you got to stop the things coming into the school. So, tighten security is the only answer there. Americans are never going to give up their guns. It's just...
Right.
Look at the television of today, and that tells you all you need to know about American mentality.
Dumber than sawdust.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
The stuff I saw yesterday, and I got a good sense of humor, but I'm going to tell you, none of it was funny. Jerry Springer wasn't funny. Jenny Jones wasn't funny. I mean, I'm channel surfing. I'm watching like 3 or 4 minutes here and there, and every one of these shows was exactly the same crap.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you have a day where you're homesick and you look at that stuff that you don't normally see, it's a shock.
It was unbelievable to me.
It is.
It's all the same.
I do the same thing. I channel surf through, and it was yesterday afternoon. Stopped at Jerry Springer for a second. It's all they do is get up out of a chair and fight with each other.
Yeah.
That's the whole.
And they're putting bleeps in where they're not even saying anything. Just to make it seem like there's a lot of swearing going. You no good mutt.
The thing is,
anybody that could watch that for more than 5 minutes and then come back and watch it again needs serious mental help.
The people that are glued to it for the whole show are brain dead. It's just unbelievable.
And it's number one. Taking America by storm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, geez.
Kicking that Oprah bitch's ass all over America.
Well, she's going to be a teacher now, so it doesn't
That's
matter.
right. She and her husband are going to teach us where it's at. Show us where it's at.
This country is so far gone.
Yeah.
All you can do is listen to somebody like you and remember what it used to be and try to find your own safety and
grab your passport.
That's it.
Okay.
Neil, I love you.
See ya. By the way, I mentioned my good friend Andrew at Publix. Oh, I guess I did. Now, why do you have a reaction like that?
I just smiled.
Yeah, but kind of a sarcastic, like a smirk. Not a smile, but a smirk.
Everyone who knows Andrew, I'm sure, is smiling and smirking.
Yeah.
And
why
they're
not?
right next to him, elbowing him in the ribs and chortling.
You know something? Let me say it again. There isn't a man or woman alive, and even if they wouldn't admit it, there's not anyone alive who wouldn't give their left arm to look good enough so that anybody of either gender or both or any would say, wow, there's a good-looking guy.
Amen.
Right. And what's wrong with that? I mean, even Gildy. I saw Gildy at the other counter last night at Publix. And I kind of pointed, and he leaned over and said,
hey, that's a good-looking guy.
Yeah. And Gildy is very secure in his masculinity. He's getting all the action he could ever handle. He's as straight as an arrow. So there you go. Everybody, that's another thing about this country. Everybody is so uptight and so afraid. What are they afraid of? What are they so terrified of? So insecure. They just can't grow up. Oh, I saw a naked boobie. Oh, my God. Like I was telling you before, in Amsterdam, all of the kids that grow up there, they have the best education system in the world. They're number one, all the test scores. Crime, almost non-existent. Violent crime, virtually non-existent. Nobody's got guns. Very often the cops are out there without any guns. And the little kids walk around all parts of the city, including the red light district, and they see the hookers behind the windows, and they see the sex shops with the big dildos and all the sex magazines. And you know something? After they've seen them the first 100 times, it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's like a natural part of life. They're no longer uptight about it. They're not psychotic about it. They're not neurotic. They're not going to psychiatrists because of all their sexual hang-ups and neuroses. And you can walk the streets. It's like a civilized place. I go to Cologne, Germany for the first time. The Germans of all people, those barbarians. We went there for 3 days. What a great city that was. You walk the streets morning, noon, and night. No problem at all. People are civilized. Nobody's got any guns. Nobody's shooting anybody else. Nobody's walking around in terror looking over their shoulder. Civilized, well-dressed, well-educated, intelligent people who've got some understanding of the world around them.
Even with all that dope?
Unlike the Americans who are going, yeah, oh, that's right. I left that part out about Amsterdam. That's right. About the kids walking past the cafes and, you know, what's that in the air? Nobody pays any attention to that. It's not a novelty. It's nothing. It's just there. There is no reefer madness. There aren't people running around in little circles going, because they had too much bad weed. I'm telling you, the value system in this country is so cockeyed and so upside down. Even with all of its religion and its religiosity, and religion is sticking their nose into politics and into your bedroom and into the woman's body and everywhere they can. And you know something? It still ain't worth a crap. They must not be getting the job done very well. But be that as it may, let me tell you again, just put your feet up on the desk, light up a nice stogie from Nick's right now. That's right, you'll feel a lot better about life. All cigars at Nick's are made from the finest Cuban seed squirt tobacco. By a bunch of Nicaraguans, by the way. We want to get them all. Well, you know, we like to spread it around. Nick's is the third generation of premium cigar craftsmen, the largest manufacturer of really great, stupendous, premium hand-rolled cigars in the U.S., and they sell to you at factory direct pricing.